Hello and welcome to this podcast that I didn't think of a name for, where we're going to be chatting
Well, we've
shit
got
about
20
Doctor
minutes.
Who
Hold
this
on.
year for a bit. And one of our number has just dropped out. I'm Ollie Johnson and I'm here with... Oh, you, you back?
I'm back. Yeah,
Okay. I'm Ollie Johnson and I'm here with some other people. Why don't we go around this metaphorical table that exists in a different dimension of space that isn't the one we're in because we're at our desks and introduce ourselves.
I'm Seb from Hirosknights, and I watched a season of Doctor Who. I have no further qualifications to talk about it, but I have views, and I'll talk about them.
I mean, it's more qualifications than a lot of people that review this stuff.
True.
Well, you've actually. That's,
Yeah, I've
that's
actually watched it.
huge.
Yeah. Okay, who else we got?
I'm TriggerGoblin, your general nitpicker and generalized hatred of all things that reviewers, basically, at this point in time.
You don't like the clickbait, do you?
No, I don't like the clickbait.
No, nor do I. It's the dark side of content creation.
And I'm Eclectichawk.
Yes.
I've watched the episode as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more than one. There's a whole series. Man.
I've watched Classic Who. I've watched New Who. I've watched New Who, and as well as the various spin-offs and things. And I acknowledge that the Barb figures still don't come out for another week.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
anyone saying about ratings for this show are lying.
Yeah. And until the BBC gives it a proper name, and possibly even after that, we're still gonna call it New Who.
No.
Because it deals with the tubby tustard. And it seems to be turning reviewers into Teletubbies. So.
Can we call it Shooty Who?
Shooty Who.
Shooty Who. Shooty Who.
I like that.
Sounds a bit gangster.
His name just lends itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Shooty Who.
Shooty Who.
Yeah.
That is a man with a good name.
Okay, so let's start as this story started with the end of New Who, the specials that David Tennant did.
Can I say one thing
You-
before we get to the before we start there?
Yep.
I can't just not address the elephant in the room after the Shooty Who.
Yeah.
Ollie, if you're going to do a review of season 2, if we're going to go with the Shooty Who thing, you've got to call season 2 Shooty 2 Electric Boogaloo.
You got it.
Continue.
Okay. So, serving very much as a functional ending to New Who, we have the Tennant specials, where Jodie Whittaker regenerated into David Tennant, making Peter Capaldi the only Doctor in New Who not to regenerate from or to David Tennant, including David Tennant.
Wow.
And he crash lands on Earth and happens to run across Donna for the Meep episode. Guys, your thoughts on that?
I thought it was a fairly solid start to that sort of mini series, if that's what we're calling it.
I mean,
I feel like the Meep was a much more fun character before we knew that the Meep was evil. But then again, apparently, as a character from Doctor Who comics, and that was a surprise for absolutely no one familiar with the character.
Well, yeah, this was a actual direct take from a Baker comic, I believe. I want to say.
Yeah, like apparently the character of the Meep is older than Star Wars is, which is crazy to me.
yeah.
I say
this is like a character from the early 70s.
A lot of the complaints is the transgender issues and that they put into
As in the
episode.
fact that a character was transgender.
Well, no, it's the fact they brought it up apparently, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's that's one bad point in this episode, but there's a lot of good in this episode, and it's like,
Yeah,
It's not really a bad point. Someone just is transgender.
yeah, and they raise the question of pronouns precisely once.
well, exactly.
There is
I
that
don't
bit
think
at the
I-
end that really annoys.
Face moment.
There is that bit at the end
Oh.
that kind of annoys me, and we'll get to that. But generally speaking, I thought this was a perfectly serviceable episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
The thing is, I actually like how they brought up the pronoun thing because it was like, it wasn't in a angry way. It wasn't a, a digging way. It was just literally, no, you're right there. It's not obvious
Yeah.
that that's
Yeah.
where I
what
should
was
be
it?
going.
Rose said, "You're assuming this pronoun," and the Doctor went, "Oh right, yeah, I am. Sorry. What should I call you?"
Yeah, it was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made sense.
It was the retconning of it was the retconning of the Dr. Donna that was the issue for a lot of people.
Well, it was kind of an arsehole that they could just sort of, and the thing I had from it is that they could just choose to not be Time Lords anymore.
I mean, that family of blood.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't really know how to say this.
Well, basically, what they said in the episode with the Dr. Donna was, Donna says, and I got the best part of the Doctor, his mind. But then in the Meep episode, they seem to imply that women are just able to let their minds go. And I thought,
I don't think I should comment.
I don't think they're meant to like be insulting their audience like that by saying women can just like let their intelligence just go and float away. I thought
Like,
that's kind of sexist, isn't it?
I'm not sure that's what was meant, but that is what was said.
Yeah, that was what was said. I don't think it was what they meant.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm not
we can
sure
just-
what they
we can
did
just let
mean
our
though.
Intelligence go.
I'm not sure
I
what
think
they
were
did
trying
mean
to
though.
say
Like,
it was power. Like they can let power go, but it was like no, that wasn't.
that's
what
not
it was.
functionally what that is though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
it's
the
like-
Doctor's mind. They could just let their minds go.
They just
I just think that's funny considering the Doctor was a woman like hours before, canonically.
Yeah, and they make a big thing of that. Like,
Yes,
well,
you'd have understood if you were still a male, if you were still a woman, female presenting Time Lord.
it's been like 3 hours.
I was going to say
Yeah,
he's
it's
still
been
very
3
effeminate in that
hours.
episode.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still.
I
mean,
think
that's
there's a
like
lot.
saying- That's like saying that the first episode with Jodie, you know, she should have been able to deal with the
She should have
tooth
been
guy
more-
way quicker and easier because she was still a male presenting Time Lord.
She should have been more butch.
But
you know,
I think there may have been a little bit of residual Chibnallness in this episode, if you know what I mean.
Well, Chibnall did. I don't think what's it called actually takes over until the Ncuti actual episodes. So this is very much still in that sort of vein of
And this is the episode where that's still readily apparent, because I did like a lot of the rest of the episode. We get a nice catch up with what actually happened to Donna, and and I like the bit where the Doctor accidentally runs into her, and then she screams "Rose," and he's like, "What? Rose? What? Rose?" That I laughed.
I think they love using the tropes for Tennant, and they are good for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, he's the Doctor that we got the most like character from,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and they're using it to full effect here for a reason, and it's like you can't moan at them for it because it's just like,
Yeah. Well, like the vast majority of Russell T Davis's original run was with Tennant. Like he had one season with Eccleston, and the rest was with David Tennant. So yeah, it makes sense that he's more comfortable writing that character.
yeah.
And then Donna throws shade and says, "You can wear a suit like that up to the age of 35 and no later."
Which is just hilarious because he actually did age out of that bracket
Yeah.
after he left Doctor Who. It was just like, you're a cheeky bitch.
Uh, yeah.
The question is, I wonder how much of it was actually them like suggesting these lines because they obviously know the characters that well.
Yeah.
I think that's a helpful thing for actors who know their characters well to do. I mean, I think we were
There's a
saying a
lot
few
of-
days ago, Star Wars would be unrecognizable without Harrison Ford doing that.
Well, because a lot of the
Yeah.
banter is very much those two.
Alright, I'll be back in a minute.
writing.
Alright. I'll be back in a minute.
Alright.
I thought he was going to say something kind of stream there. It's like, fucking woman.
Well, I mean, they had to do that with Star Wars because some of George Lucas's dialogue for the original trilogy,
Yeah.
he just downright refused to say because it was so bad.
Yeah. And
It was. But that's a whole different issue.
yeah, that's maybe something to bring up next Thursday.
You know, we don't want to accidentally summon the Legends Candyman.
But yeah, I think the twist with the Meep was I mean, it got more obvious the closer it got. But also the second twist at the end where okay, the meta crisis would have killed Donna originally, but her having a kid sort of split it in two between them, and that was just about enough for them to survive. I think that was a good enough way to have that happen without killing the character off.
Yeah. I had no problem with how they handled this episode. It was like, it was literally just the sort of the echoes of the last series coming in a little bit with the there's some lines on this that just like they're going to anger people and they're not entirely needed. You know, it's just like,
I mean, for me, the only one that really sticks out for me was the "you can just let go," because like of what that is functionally implying, regardless of the original intent. Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was a good touch to have had Donna give away the lottery winnings because she wanted to be more like the Doctor, and then for her to get that memory back and then just fucking scold him for that. It's like, you turned me into a softie. No, Catherine Tate has real chemistry with David Tennant, and I think it's quite ironic that she has an actual comedy show, but I found her way funnier in Doctor Who.
I think she's too over the top sometimes in the comedy shows.
Who's this? Catherine Tate?
I take it you agree because you didn't you didn't need him to tell you who you meant.
I mean, I didn't. Well, who else would he be talking about?
Yeah, I was just saying I thought it was ironic that like Catherine Tate, who has an actual sketch comedy show, I found funniest in Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. But no, Donna's a great character, and I think this was a good capping off of that whole meta crisis thing.
I liked her in this season.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a Monster of the Week episode, which, you know, there are a lot of in Doctor Who. That's kind of part of the format.
And it was one hell of a monster as well.
Yeah. And it was Miriam Margolyes, who's always good.
Well, in this case, bad, but it is in good bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean. She brought it.
Yes, I do.
And then we come on to a bit of a bottle episode on that space station. I don't know where I would put this one with the three of them. Because sorry.
Well, this was the setup for the next series. This was the breaking of the barrier thing. That's all this was.
Yeah, I mean,
what, you mean the
the
episode
salt.
for Wild Blue Yonder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode. It's one of my favourites actually of that season. I think it was in the mini season.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely top 3 of that
Also-
mini season.
Oh well, yeah,
Well,
undoubtedly.
yeah.
I mean, what's funny about it is it was just memes. I mean, like every single still from that episode is a meme. It's like, you know, the Doctor with his jaw like 10 foot wide open, and you know, long Donna.
Long Donna.
I don't know. I think that first bit where when you don't know what's going on is actually very.
It's
creepy.
a very well established mystery, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's,
And then one of my favourite bits was when Donna looks down and goes, "Where's your tie?" I took it off. Yeah, but it's gone. It should be there. Oh, I see. Things continue to exist when you let them go.
my favourite part of the episode was when Donna said it's Donnaring time and started Donnaring all over the place.
No, that was the last one.
True.
But then the Doctor gets the wrong one. That was a legit scary sort of climax.
I kind of saw it coming, but it was very well done.
Yeah.
Like I thought, oh, he's got the wrong one. Like, oh well, why is whatever funny? And just goes, it just is.
The thing is, it's the hilarious thing where it's like as soon as he gets that 1 second to stop and look, because it's a very Doctor thing that he doesn't look properly the first time.
Yeah.
That moment where he stops and actually looks and goes, one of your arms is shorter than the other.
Yeah. And generally, the whole slow motionness, the mystery of that episode was very well done. I don't have too much to say about it, but again, works as a Monster of the Week thing really well. It throws in the whole salt thing. You're playing at the edge of the universe where all things are possible. That basically sets up that this season's gonna have a lot more fantastical elements to it, and it does.
Also, it was an early sign that something's seriously up with the TARDIS.
Well, that's funny thing is that's something they separated in when they switched to showrunners, because Tennant's run was a little bit more with the fantastic stuff like the werewolves, the family. They had more of the fantasy stuff enrolled. If you look at when they switched over, it went very like tech style, and it was all, oh, we're going to rely on like Cybermen, we're going to rely on Daleks, we're going to rely on Weeping Angels, things that they had like down.
Oh, just since you mentioned it, just one point. Respect to Russell T Davies for not even touching the Daleks this year.
Yeah, like he just. We know you wanted to, and you just didn't. Well done.
Yeah.
The thing is,
You want this, don't you?
And the thing is, Daleks are best when they have a good story, and just throwing them in because you want to. They don't work. We get really bad episodes like the like the Continuum of the Daleks and the Invasion of Britain and stuff like that. It's like he just threw these in for no freaking reason.
I want there to be an episode called The Dalek of the Daleks, where the Daleks are electing a new Dalek Emperor in the Dalek Parliament, and you know, the Doctor hears that one of them is secretly trying to bring down the you know, Daleks from the inside, so secretly tries to help them, and then it turns out that the winning Dalek is Rusty, and then like Rusty's just bringing them all down from the inside.
Oh, what would it be? Like the referendum of the Daleks?
Yeah, the referendum of the Daleks. That's one hell of a name for an episode, actually.
Adjudicate.
Dalek of the Dalek.
That would really be a good episode. actually. I would love to see a
Referendum of
Dalek saying
Daleks.
adjudicate.
The Dalek of the
Vote,
Daleks.
vote, you will vote.
He'd just be the one standing there going, voting starts. And then like 2 seconds later, voting ends.
You will
'Cause-
cast your ballot or be
Because the
exterminated.
thing is, it's all digital, so it literally just be them having like 2 seconds to vote. It would just be like, voting starts.
There should also be
Voting
There should also be Doctor of the Doctor, where the Doctor, because he's a Time Lord,
Goes
falls
to medical
ill. And,
school.
no, he has to visit his doctor. But it turns out that his doctor,
That's up
is
there with
someone
Willow. That's up there with the Willow sequel, Willow's colon.
who... the Doctor of the Doctor. I just like the idea of doubling up the words of the, very stereotypical...
Is that when we get to find out who Ncuti's doctor
Episode.
is? Because that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I want to know.
Because we know we've had what we have. Don't we know in previous history? We know that the last 3 doctors, don't we?
Yeah.
The
Well,
Doctor of the
Tennant said who his was because it was in a
It was
Children in Need
it was
special.
the cricket guy, wasn't it? The one with the
Yeah,
cricket.
it was.
and
It's
the-
his
the
father-in-law.
Yeah. Which
Did
fair
he
play.
help him get in touch with his conscience?
Peter Davison. It was his father-in-law. Well,
And
it's
then-
his father-in-law now.
Does he still have beef with? Does Kanye West still have beef with him?
Who? Peter Davison.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, because
I don't know if
he
he's
can't
winding
stand
you up
Pete
or not, I really
Davidson
don't.
because he got with what's her name, Kim Kardashian after she
What?
left him. Yeah, this is true. Look it up. Just search for Pete Davidson.
Peter
Kanye West.
Davison.
I know.
I didn't know if he was winding you up or not.
I know. I'm
Davison was-
winding you up.
What?
I was sitting there going, oh, where is he going with this? I don't know if he's winding him up or not. I was like, wait, this is a Seb thing, isn't it? I know it's a Seb thing.
I can just imagine
I'm not
Barney
100%.
angrily tweeting out, what kind of a man wears celery on his jacket?
Well, not many men can pull off a decorative vegetable.
True.
Yeah.
I bet Kanye's jealous that he can.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's an interesting Rick and Morty episode.
So it turns out that you could not keep up with the Kardashians.
Well, not without the time, not without the TARDIS.
Or medication.
Okay, if there's nothing more to mention on the second one, on to my favourite of the specials, the giggle.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love Neil Patrick Harris in this.
Neil Patrick Harris is just always fantastic.
He's just a treasure. You can't. Thing is, this is the thing. I physically cannot say anything bad about this, and when I saw like the reviews on this, I'm like, you obviously aren't paying attention because it's like, this is amazing. Every single aspect is amazing.
All right.
It's just my favourite Doctor Who meme as well. Well, that's all right then.
Yeah, well, that's all right then. And it does work as a rounding off of New Who as a series. It brings up a lot of the old continuities. Like, he mentions the other companions, like Amy Pond and Bill
Amy
Potts.
Bond.
And he loved Amy Pond.
Amy Bond.
And then, like, that scene where the Doctor is essentially making excuses for his dead
Yeah.
companions, and the toy maker is just increasingly exasperated that that's what he's doing. Oh,
I mean,
well,
when you've
that's
got-
all right then.
When you've got a guy who just has contempt for rules in general, and you're disgusting him with your lame ass excuses, you
Yeah.
know that you've not got the moral high ground here.
Yeah.
Also, I love how genuinely, like, when the Doctor suggests playing a game, and Donna says he'll cheat, and then the toy
They
maker
both just
looks.
look at. Who?
The toy maker looks at her like he's genuinely offended by the assertion that he would cheat. Like, this guy that has killed many people and will kill many more just is genuinely like hurt by the assumption that he would cheat at anything.
I like the doctor's actually quite insulted as well because he's like, he won't. You know he won't.
No, that's the one thing we can count on him not to do.
Yeah, it's like he is a monster in many ways, but cheating is just not where he will go.
Yeah, evil has standards.
Yeah. Although I think I asked Trigger this question already, but for the pod, what game would you challenge the toy maker to if it was down to you to save the world?
Well, that's that classic one, isn't it? Like, what would you, if your soul was on the line, what would you challenge the Grim Reaper to?
Yeah.
How about a hand job competition? So right, if he can get you off, then he wins.
That's
So
not really
either...
a game. Seth.
Well, no. But think about it. Even
I
if
don't
you
think
lose,
competitive
you win.
masturbation is like
Yeah,
a
but if
recognised
you
game.
lose, you win because you get a free hand job.
I mean, I've heard of
wonder
casual
that-
sex. I've never heard of ranked competitive sex before.
I want to know what kind
it
of
must
drinking
exist.
games he's been playing at that university of his.
Yeah.
They just all sit in a
Oh,
room
that's all right.
masturbating.
Things have got more extreme.
It's like what we do is we all masturbate in a circle. We fill up a shot glass, and the last one to finish has to drink it.
Oh.
It's like, God, what games are you playing?
Anyway, Doctor Who.
See, he won't make those jokes again now.
I acknowledge I would probably lose this, but on the condition that he gives us holograms, I'd want to play him at Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, that would be so good.
No, because he's just gonna have like a really stupid deck, and you're not gonna win it.
Yeah, he's gonna have it's gonna be within the rules,
Oh, yeah,
but he
so
is
you
gonna
have
have
a
the
ban
most
list.
obscene deck from his universe.
Like just Exodia OTK, and I never get to draw.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he'll just have every card to draw from. And unless you're but only using the rule set from 2024. Yeah, you'd have to be incredibly the banned list from this point.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just asking for it.
Yeah, I suppose. Although, Trigger, I
Otherwise the
remember
game
what.
gets more broken in the next 10 years if it lasts 10 years.
I wonder
Yeah.
I wonder if you can genie him.
Oh, what, just have a monkey's paw kind of game.
You know, I was just wondering. It's like, all right, person who can fit in the smallest space, and you trap him in a bottle because he just goes for that. And you're like, boop, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, except then he wins, and by his own thing, he would be able to get back out.
Well, not if he goes first, because then you never take your turn.
No, but he's not a genie.
No, I know, but it'd be interesting.
You just want him to.
The last
How
time I
good
asked
would
you
he
that-
be as a genie?
The last time you asked you
I
that
think
question, you came up with a good idea, and I subscribe to this. It's probably what I would do if the Fate of the World was online. Tic-tac-toe, and just keep forcing the draw until the doctor can find a way to sort him out. Just, I've come to bargain.
Yeah, just nag him into submission.
Oh my God, David Dickinson, I've come to bargain.
See, I think I would probably pick the board game Libel.
Libel.
By Coronation, the Coronation Street actor who played Ken Barlow.
The way of the
after a-
ship is raiding with a party of 3. Hello, Pete.
Hi, Pete.
He literally
Just the way.
he literally made a game because he had a really bad divorce. It is a shockingly awful game. It is the worst game I've ever played in my life. And I think we would basically end up abandoning the game.
Who doesn't do that?
And
for a
just
really
sort
bad
of going
divorce?
we just need to go after the person who made this.
Yeah.
like together. We would become allies and friends, going after the person who created such a horrifyingly bad game.
I think Ollie shouldn't challenge him to a game of Crash Bandicoot.
No, no.
Like, that was 2 hours. You hadn't done a level.
Okay, I will say one thing: do not challenge him. Okay, Ollie and Seb,
Challenge
do
him to
not
Cards
challenge him
Against
to
Humanity.
GoldenEye. You both
No,
suck at GoldenEye.
it's true. We there.
Challenge him to Cards Against Humanity.
Hmm.
Because think about it,
You need a third player.
the BBC censors, well, Donna, but the BBC censors wouldn't let you say, the funniest stuff, so it would hamstring him.
Yeah. But yeah, the episode was like, I really liked it. I hesitate to say it
Yeah.
was top tier, but I also don't want to say it wasn't. Like, yeah.
Well, this is the thing I've been barking on about for ages. This season and like the whole of this whole stuff that's coming up, it doesn't have to be top tier. It just has to be migratively better than what we just had that cost the huge audience drop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
let's
I
face it, it
think
was.
so. I think so. I think the baseline quality of the episodes is higher than it's been in a long time.
Yeah, even the mediocre episodes this season have been quite watchable and fun.
Like, probably my least favorite episode was Space Babies, and even
Yeah.
that would probably have made top half of a Chibnall season.
Yes, I agree with you there.
I loved Space Babies.
It was nightmare fuel.
I loved it.
No.
I adored it.
I think that
Really?
episode would have been better. I think that episode would have
absolutely
been
loved
better.
that episode.
What would have made that episode really good was if the
It
babies
would
were
be if it
evil.
was 2 hours.
No, if they were evil.
No.
The thing is, we
No.
don't know that they're not the babies that become the racists in what's it called in Dot.
Yeah.
I've seen that theory going about.
That is.
Baby racists for racist babies.
Well,
See, that one I thought was one of the weakest episodes because it was like a really bad Black Mirror episode.
I
See,
think
I mean,
until the halfway point, I thought it was going to be a bad episode as well, and then
Yeah.
it became good.
Then it redeemed itself to me, and it's like on a second watch, it became my favorite episode of the season just because. Well, we'll get to it.
I mean, I think we're all going to have different favourite episodes this season, but we're still talking about the mini season, aren't we?
Yeah, we're still on the giggle, and
Yeah.
okay, top tier title, the giggle. The concept of an arpeggio being buried in human consciousness for all of recorded history, or at least as long as there's been television, is like, I mean, you'd wonder why it didn't come up before, but also there's no reason it would have.
Yeah, that's not the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was a very good instruction to shoot his doctor.
Yeah.
I didn't really get so much of a sense of him in the first few episodes of the proper season, but I really liked him in that episode.
Now, the bi-generation was an arsepull. However, I'm gonna forgive that because the vibe was good.
Yeah, you pardon it.
Yeah. Because I think people underestimate the importance of vibes in their media. Like,
In other words, just whether it felt right.
yeah, and it did feel right. David Tennant Doctor got, well, every incarnation up to the Doctor until then, by extension, got a happy ending with his own TARDIS that he can take
a
out.
deleted scene.
Oh, for God's sake.
Maybe challenge the, yeah.
He's really
maybe
on hand jobs today, isn't he? Like,
apparently, yeah.
He's frustrated. Leave him alone.
This looks like a job for me.
He's just going to go disappear for 10 minutes and listen to some Eminem. He'll come back and he'll be cheerful.
Yeah. But
I'll link him some art in the chat. He'll be fine.
The sad thing is, I feel like you would.
Gold star of the
Probably
episode.
uploading it now.
Yeah.
What
The-
have I got to hand?
The Oscar of the episode goes to definitely Neil Patrick Harris. He's just
Yeah, I love Neil Patrick Harris.
he's just fantastic.
Neil
and-
Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris.
It doesn't work with the rhythm.
No. There's too many silly balls.
And obviously Donna's great. Mel being there was good too. Like, you know, the whole unit shebang. And then, well, I did think the toy maker going, well, that's how the game is played these days. People shout, they fight, and they catch. So it's like, oh, okay, social media shouting at people,
Yeah,
fuck
we get
off.
it.
To be fair, he's not wrong.
I mean,
No.
he's not, but like,
You don't have to be so heavy-handed to make your point. We get what you're trying to say.
yeah,
Well, it seems to be the way when you show right as an older person.
Mm.
You know, it's like when they have those really clunky sort of U-book
McClunky.
sort of,
yeah.
you know, because they can't mention Facebook or something, so they don't come up with their own name. They just
Yeah.
You say you don't have to be that
face
heavy-handed,
paper or something.
but loads of people moan when they don't understand something. So maybe you
Yeah.
do.
I don't
Apparently
think that's
so.
a good enough reason to dumb
No,
down your
no, you're-
writing, though.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I
don't
don't
be
think you should come
writing
down the rain
the
for it.
dumbest person in the room. Write for the smartest person in the room and, like, trust other people to get it.
Well, just write for yourself.
Yeah.
Basically. That's probably my biggest sort of, I don't know what the word would be on that, is just
Pearl of wisdom.
write for yourself and trust that other people will see what you're getting at.
Yeah, they'll catch your drift.
Because naturally, I think as a writer, you write what you want to see anyway. So,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you
yeah,
won't be the only
I
one.
think that's half the problem we get these days. People write what they want, but the problem is they then have that put into something it doesn't fit with. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to write for Sex in the City, but Sex in the City's gone now, so I'm now writing episodes of Star Trek Discovery, as though I'm writing episodes of Sex in the City.
Is this a very specific chip on your shoulder, or is that just an example?
No, that was literally one I just made up.
Oh, right. So it's not like, oh my god, Star Trek Discovery is too similar to Sex and the City these days.
No, there's no correlation there at all. It's just I just picked two shows that are very different, two genres which are very different. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, but also
that's been a lot of the problem. We get a lot of, especially in Hollywood, we get a lot of writers who want to write one type of thing, and then Marvel hires them.
And then they write that one type of thing anyway.
Yeah, they write what they want or what their director wants, and it's not.
In defense of that, Marvel is multi-genre, so like it can take it.
Yeah, but if you're someone who doesn't like sci-fi, and then you're writing a sci-fi,
writers can be bad fits for projects. Is what it, yeah. But yeah, I can't believe I didn't mention it, but we got I'm not usually one to get that enthusiastic for cameos, but it was nice that we got Wilf back.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering that it was so shortly after he passed away.
Yeah.
I'm glad
I think he handled that really well because he didn't overuse it, and because they could have done, to be fair.
Yeah.
And it was nice. It was nice to see Bernard back for one last time. I mean,
yes,
people forget he is literally the only actor who was in both the both Doctor Who and the Doctor Who movies.
Mm.
So, you know, aside from Daleks, there were Daleks that were in both because the
Yeah, they played
suits get
themselves.
reused. The suits get reused frequently. There is a very if you're that fascinated by Dalek things, there are ways of identifying Daleks going all the way through the show based off the measurements of the bobbles and stuff on the front.
Yeah.
And they can tell. There are people out there who can tell you literally where one Dalek has been in throughout the entire history of the show. Like
Can they
one
tell
suit
you about
design.
the ones from the Kit Kat advert? Like where they
Sorry?
originated from? Can they tell you about ones from the Kit Kat adverts?
Probably.
Do you remember
If
that?
it was a proper Dalek design,
Yeah.
they could probably identify it because they use it like a fingerprint.
Did you ever see
because
the
they-
Kit Kat
because they
adverts
weren't
for
made-
Daleks?
Because they weren't made to a specific. They weren't made. It's not like, excuse me. It's not like a car when they were like a robot making them. They were made by, like a
Afros.
craftsman, and they were just made to order. So there were deviations in the measurements. Like some will have the bobble over to one side slightly, to the other side, and there is like a science behind identifying them. So you can do that, and they have.
Nice.
Because there's a channel on YouTube where they literally go through like where every single suit from Asylum of the Daleks came from, and its whole history. And
Wow.
some are from the Peter Cushing films.
Oh.
So yeah, it's so yeah.
Do Daleks have gender? Are
No.
there women
Technically-
Daleks?
Technically, yes, because they were a humanoid species.
Yeah, they're the Khalids, so
Yeah, and that was just their final mutated form, just accelerated. So yeah, technically they could have.
Though it seems like they don't seem to care about that one way or the other.
No, I still think one of my favorite Dalek moments was when they were talking in German.
yeah.
Exterminieren!
Exterminieren.
Yeah, as I said, Bernard Cribbins getting. I saw this amazing thing where they were talking about Bernard Cribbins, and they were basically saying like, "Oh, what order should I watch the Doctor Who movies?" And they were like, "Probably in the order they were made. There's only 2 of them. Well, 3 if you include Paul McGann, but that's a different continuity."
Oh, did anyone notice in the scene where the bounty hunter was like looking at the Doctor in his previous forms, that one of them was Richard E. Grant?
Yes.
Yes, that's a reference to
The
Strata.
Scream
Strata
of the
Doctor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Scream of the something.
Yes, I think it's something like Stream of the Strata or something
Yeah,
like that, like
yeah.
Strada.
It was
Strada, that's it.
it was a web series, I believe.
Yeah, because a lot of people said, "Oh, is it a reference to the Comic Relief one?"
No, they're not gonna make that one canon.
I'd have preferred it was that one.
Imagine if they had like Lenny Henry as one of them. That would have been interesting.
No, because Lenny Henry wasn't one, but in that continuity, you had Rowan Atkinson, Joanna Lumley, Richard E. Grant, Hugh Grant, and
They could have had Peter Cushing as well.
I'm trying to think of his name. He was a professor in Harry Potter.
Alan Rickman?
Alan
No,
Rickman?
Jim Broadbent. It was Jim Broadbent.
Jim Broadbent. That's him. Yeah. I'd have loved it to have been that. They're bringing the comic relief continuity.
I do legitimately think that Jim Broadbent, well, maybe not now, but at some point pretty recently.
But he's dead now.
Oh God, is he?
I believe so.
I'm losing track of who's dead and who isn't.
Well,
The
as long as
Doctor
it doesn't
doesn't.
extend to immediate family, I think you'll be all right.
See, that would save the timeless children for me.
Or if they killed Jim Broadbent.
If it brought back those doctors.
I
Yeah,
legit
the
think
doctor chooses not to
Oh my
remember those
God,
regenerations
sorry,
because they only
guys.
lasted 20
Sorry,
minutes.
Jim Broadbent is still alive. I'm so sorry. I could have sworn I read that he passed away.
I actually
sorry.
genuinely think Jim Broadbent would make a good Doctor. It'd
Yeah.
be a throwback to the classic Who sort of tone. But
Yeah.
but I think he could be really good.
Also, he is as broad as he is bent.
Yikes! Is he a practicing homosexual?
um, uh, no, I believe he's an agnostic one.
What?
No, I don't know what his sexuality is. To be honest, I've never asked. Never met the guy.
You just said he was as bent as he is broad, or are you trying to say he's a criminal?
He could be a criminal.
I'm thinking either one of these is grounds for legal
Slander,
action.
sir,
So Ollie, you should probably step in at this point.
For the
Yeah,
for legal
your good friend
purposes,
Billy Mitchell has told you all about legal action and things. So,
I have never met the gentleman in question, and for the benefit of any legal parties, that was Seb talking, no one else.
Yes. Yeah.
The opinions of the panel do not reflect the show itself.
Which is good because our opinions are dog shit.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that spicy hot take. It wasn't even a take, it was just me making a joke based on his name.
But yeah, so we all agree that the giggle was basically a good version of what it was trying to be.
Yeah.
I don't think so, yeah.
I liked the resolution for the 10th Doctor, that he got to be the uncle, and
Yeah.
also I like that they set up that Rose is going to be important later without really going into details about how. That was nice.
Yeah.
I like how the miniseries did link in with this series a fair bit. Also, I quite liked Rose as a character. Gotta be said.
Yeah.
I think I actually prefer this Rose to the main Rose. Although actually the main Rose has moments, but it's more just the fact that the Doctor never shut up about her for 4 seasons.
I see. Well, after the giggle, we went on to the Christmas special, Ncuti's first episode.
Singing Goblins!
Singing Goblins, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't love it. I didn't particularly dislike it, but it was one of the episodes of all time. I enjoyed it.
Trigger, are you going to say it or shall I?
Oh, I don't know. You should say it, I think.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're a goblin.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You should be racially offended by this.
They're not goblins, they're gremlins.
You should be triggered.
Yeah.
Those are gremlins. I swear to God, those are gremlins.
They're not goblins. They're freaking gremlins.
And one of them was basically just
Trademark
trapped up.
purposes, they were goblins. For trademark purposes, they were goblins.
Do you know how
Well,
I
they
know
were-
that?
they
Do you
were
know how I
totally
know they're
gremlins.
gremlins?
Who's going around trademarking
How?
gremlins?
They're too short.
How tall
Well,
are
they were
goblins?
totally gremlins.
Average goblin is a 3 foot something. Those are only like a 1.5 foot max.
And also, that expression about a mechanical failure which is caused by an unknown thing. That is not a goblin. That's a gremlin.
That's a gremlin. They literally, that whole episode, they're how they do things, how they injure people. That is technically a gremlin stat line.
Well, yeah.
It is totally gremlins. Even the musical number. It's
'Cause
like
if they-
someone. It's like
If they were
someone
goblins, they'd have
basically-
jumped them.
They basically went, oh, shall we show this to our legal team? Because are we on borderline, copyright infringement?
Are we
it's
stepping
like,
on
yeah.
Spielberg's feet?
You totally are. I don't know who owns the rights to Gremlins.
I believe Steven Spielberg, Amblin, I think.
It might be Amblin Entertainment,
Yeah.
Didn't they sell it to Universal though?
I
possibly, because I
don't
know there was a show in development.
But they had the
at one
animated one.
stage. So it might be Universal.
Did I ever tell
If
you
it
about the
is-
painkiller incident with Gremlins?
Sorry?
So if I tell you about the painkiller incident with Gremlins,
I don't know
so
anything
this
about
was after I had a COVID jab. I was feeling ill effects and I was in excruciating pain. So first thing I did because I couldn't sleep was as soon as the shop opened, go to the shop, buy some painkillers. Took them, went to sleep, and then a few hours later I went to uni and I completely forgot that all of that even happened. I went out for a few drinks. So we're doing a film screening for the course, and it was Gremlins. And so basically, I was tripping balls while watching Gremlins, and I was freaking out.
Yeah. Right, so we now know that Seb watches Gremlins while high.
Yeah,
That
and it wasn't a fun trip.
well, that and they're not actually green, if you notice.
Yeah, they were grey.
Yeah.
They're grey, which again, Gremlin. He started me now on the Goblin versus Gremlin dispute.
So what we've learned from this is that Russell T Davies apparently really likes the film Gremlins.
Which would have been hilarious if they'd done it on Columbus Day.
I was going to say Columbo Day.
If anyone understood that reference, good for you.
Yeah, I thought
And
the
then
episode.
we'll watch Young Sherlock Holmes.
I thought that episode on the whole was okay. It's probably like not one that I would point someone to say this is what Doctor Who's about.
It was fun mid. It was fun
Oh.
mid.
It was as good as the first what's it called episode with the burning of the
Space.
earth with the tree woman.
The burning of the earth with the tree woman?
Yeah, the I'm like thinking. You remember the first like New Who? What did we have? We had the plastic wheelie bin then,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
then
yeah.
we had the burning of Earth, and I'm like,
Yeah,
So
with
it's-
Cassandra.
yeah, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, this is fine.
Yeah, moisturize me.
Yeah, I mean, is that really that weird compared to Space Babies?
No, I suppose not.
Your villain being a bitchy bouncy castle.
I like
she's referred to.
It's just trampoline.
Yes, a bitchy trampoline.
I liked the
Spooky trampoline.
super grip gloves. The
Oh yeah, I wish that came back. I thought that was neat.
It did come back.
Did
Yeah.
it win?
The
In the
finale.
last
Finale.
episode.
I'm trying to remember.
How do you think he
Yeah, the
dragged
smart
him to
gloves.
the TARDIS?
Oh yeah.
Smart gloves.
Sorry, that's on me. I obviously didn't notice that.
Yeah, he puts them on before he attaches the lead so that he can actually pull him along.
Ah, yeah. He took his dog for a walk.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. So yeah, the smart gloves are a nice touch. I thought Ruby was very quickly likable as a companion. What do we think of actually having a contemporary celebrity in it as themselves as a plot point, like with Davina McCall?
I thought it was funny that Davina McCall was held in such high esteem in that universe. I mean, I like Davina McCall, but like, she's not the person that you just like go, "Oh my god, Davina McCall." You say, "I wonder what she's up to these days." Yeah, I liked it. Davina had a nice cameo in this. Well, it was a kind of a plot thing, so it wasn't even a cameo. But
Yeah.
yeah, I liked Davina McCall playing herself in this. That was
Yeah. It's always an interesting thing to play with, like the existence of real world celebrities in a fictional setting.
I wish Michael Winner lived to play himself in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You know, calm down, dear. It's a commercial. That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
But I see. I wouldn't want him
Harry
to
Scott.
be. I wouldn't want him to be that. I would want him to be, badass director, when he was younger.
Mm.
I mean, he freaking directed Death Wish
Mm.
and Death Wish 2.
Ah,
Yeah, people forget he did more than just the eShore adverts.
It's like
would you like to see your lawyer?
he had some freaking darkness in him. Yeah, that guy who I mean, I knew nothing about his body of work. Aside from the like
his body.
calm down, dear, it's only a commercial, and then I found out like he wrote one of the most freaking violent revenge movies of all time.
Mm.
Like freaking hell, that's why he's telling people to calm down.
Yeah, I reckon we're on to a winner with this one.
You wind him up, and you believe in Jesus, you're going to be going to see him. Bam.
Would you like to see your lawyer fuck himself?
Was
was
a movie?
No, that was Wishmaster.
Oh.
I was thinking
Yeah,
of Wishmaster.
I was playing Death Wish.
Yeah, I got my horror movies mixed up.
Yeah, because he does that. He sees a guy's wearing a cross, and he's like, "Oh, you believe in Jesus? It's Charles Bronson. Well, you're gonna go meet him." He blows the guy away. It's like, yikes. But that was one of those franchises where they just ran out of friends for him to take revenge for the rape and murder of.
Well, he just doesn't like enough people to.
No, they've raped and killed them. They've got to keep moving into new places so he can get to know people and them to be raped and murdered.
What's happened to his friends?
It would get to the point where, like, if they were still making them nowadays, it'd be like Death Wish 47.
Yeah, it's kind of like
you'd be looking out, like, in real life, like, oh, there's a guy over there called Paul Kersey. He's just moved into the neighborhood. Screw you, I'm not becoming your friend.
It's like Midsummer Murders. It must come to the point where people stop moving to Midsummer because of the high crime rate.
Well, I've got a colleague who works frequently in Midsummer. We make a constant joke about it. Because he said, like, shouldn't I get murdered? And I was like, no, you're a recurring character now.
Yeah, not a red shirt.
It's only if you visit Midsummer for the first time.
Yeah.
If you can make it there, if you can make it in and out of Midsummer, because there is a Midsummer near me.
Yeah.
If you can make it in and out of Midsummer without being killed, and go back several times, you're okay.
Did you know that Midsummer has 4 times the murder rate of the world's highest murder rate, which is Nicaragua?
Yeah. That's because John Nettles was there. Like Bergerac.
A fawn between 2 nettles. That'd be a good name for a podcast he was involved in.
I suppose. Yeah. Oh. So that was after the Goblin episode comes Space Babies.
Space Babies.
Love it. It was so cute. It was adorable.
Yeah.
In fairness, they really avoided those babies being Uncanny Valley. Somehow, I don't know how they did it, but by all rights, those babies should have been 10 times scarier than they ended up being.
Yeah.
They were lovely.
Because things like that usually freak me out. I mean, it's like those stupid Evian babies from the adverts. It's just kill it with fire. That's my usual reaction to this kind of thing, and I will say this for them. I didn't get that reaction from the Space Babies. So I read it like sincerely as it was meant to be.
Or the baby from Twilight.
Oh yeah.
So
they had like way bigger budget, and yet they had the creepiest baby of all time.
That was horrible. I mean, I've watched Twilight fine. I've never seen Twilight, but I have seen clips from that scene.
That baby's worse than the one from Ally McBeal. And that looked like it was being made on a PlayStation.
Haven't seen it, and at this point, I doubt I ever shall.
Oh, Google it. Google it. The dancing baby from Ally McBeal. I mean, it looks terrible, but you'd expect it from then. A long time ago.
So it looks of its time.
Probably, yeah, but the one from Twilight, you're talking about a Hollywood film with a big budget, and it looks that bad.
Yeah, ostensibly they're supposed to have all the money and talent in the world behind them.
Yeah, and they went for Jeff from accounting doing it on GIMP. while drunk.
Yeah.
Babies was neat. Having said that, I didn't like Ncuti in that episode as well as I did in the Christmas special.
Right. So you'll say this for the space babies, Seb. You did not want to murder these babies with fire.
No. I engaged with it honestly without like terror or,
Yeah.
like a creepy feeling. They weren't creepy, and I was worried they were going to be.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the whole thing where the monster was made of like human feces, and they used the farts to power the ship. That was funny to me. It seems like a very kiddie episode,
That's
and
not-
I don't mean that in a condescending
That's
way.
not
I
what the
mean that-
monster was made of.
Oh, was it not?
It was a bogeyman. The machine was literal.
Oh, I thought it was made of poo.
Why did you think that?
I don't know.
It was literally. They called it the bogeyman and said it was literally the bogeyman.
I assumed it was just
Made of
the guilt
bogey.
of calling it
That's
the
why they.
shit man.
That's, Seb, it's why they showed you the tissues.
What?
I mean, it's why they couldn't have done teenagers in space. I mean, it would have been the jizz man.
The jizz. I'm a jizz man. So, but why was it the methane then?
No,
That was from the nappies. That was
That was from the
no,
nappies, I
that was a
yeah.
different plot point. It had nothing to do with the monster.
I think, Seb, you were focusing on your other fears about the babies being uncanny and just kind of lost all the rest of the episode. Like,
I was so focused on not freaking out.
yeah,
that
you were
I
so
invented
concerned
a
about you
plot
shitting
human
yourself.
Feces. Yeah, I invented a plotline that didn't exist about human feces.
Yes, it became the Golgothan for you. The weird crossover between Doctor Who
And Dogma.
and Jay and Silent Bob.
Maybe I just watched Dogma around the same time and it rubbed off on me.
Yeah, I could understand.
But then
that,
Ruby
and
would have
if the
got
Doctor
covered in
actually
shit.
Pulled out the
Oh, yes.
knocked out strong odors.
Yeah, that would have been a memorable start. A shit Sunday.
Ugh.
Yeah, Ruby's cool. I like Ruby, and
Yeah.
this episode was a good introduction to her as a companion. Well, not an introduction, but introduction to her in the like day-to-day activities of being a.
I like
companion,
how
I
much
mean.
they featured her family this season.
Yeah, I
Like-
like her family. I like the grandma. She's awesome.
Yeah, like-
You could just chat shit with her all day. That'd be hilarious.
Especially because, and moving on a bit here, 73 yards.
Yeah, I love. That's my favorite episode of this season.
I don't know about favourite, but I like it. It's up there.
I liked it because it was so fucked up. It was so good. So basically, she defeats an evil Welsh Nazi by just freaking him out and making him go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not talking about the episode yet.
But also, doesn't 73 yards imply that Ruby herself has a perception filter around her?
Yeah.
Because, the apparition, whatever that we think turns out to be older Ruby, doesn't stay 73 yards away from the TARDIS. It stays
No.
73 yards away from Ruby.
Also, I love that we didn't get like solid answers on that. I like that enough is still interpretable to the audience.
I did like the pub people like messing with her.
Yeah,
That
So
was
I
funny.
thought they go for the very predictable thing of, oh yeah, there's this like sinister Welsh folklore, and it was just them being like, "Ha, we love playing tricks on the tourists."
Yeah. It's racist to be blunt, darling. You think we're all druids and witches. You walked into a bit of string.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was funny.
it did make it clear it was definitely North Wales.
Yeah.
I believe they filmed that in Pembrokeshire.
No, Pembrokeshire's way more touristy than that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it would have been North Wales because North Wales are still they're way more
like the bits that do actually.
Oh wait, no.
unwelcoming.
Have I skipped an episode?
No, we have. Sorry about this, Ollie.
Yeah. Because I forgot about Boom, which is
That was the second episode, I believe, this season. Am I right? Am I wrong?
the one with the landmine. That was a really good episode as well.
Good episode.
Yeah.
Also, I love how they've got the big Disney budget, but they're still doing fairly self-contained episodes.
Yeah, I think you can get carried away with the possibilities sometimes.
Yeah, like I was worried that they'd just do too much of it and make it too flashy, and no, it still feels very much like classic Doctor Who with a budget and a dream.
Yeah. Okay, so
Ooh, I wouldn't.
You know what I
mean,
mean?
it's not quite as flashy as Chibnall got at times,
No.
but Chibnall got a little too kind of we'll have an action set piece in a like quarry, which was a bit of a strange callback, but
yeah.
bit of a strange callback to Classic Who, with all the action set pieces usually being in a stone quarry.
I'm getting the episodes muddled up. It is Boom. It's the landmine one and then 73 yards, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because we kept making the joke about it, you know.
Because for me, 73 yards was that like moment from The Simpsons where he's watching oh god, what's the name of the show? You know, the American show that's weird, the David Lynch one.
Oh, I know which one you mean.
I keep wanting to say 9 yards. I know that's not what it's called.
No, it's
Mountain Peak. No.
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah. It felt very much like home watching Twin Peaks going, brilliant. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. But no,
I feel like for some reason today I'm not at the top of my game. I feel like I've got the eloquence of Joe Biden at the moment.
I wouldn't sell yourself quite that short, but yeah, so the landmine episode. Good one. Yeah.
Yes, I liked the supporting character and how she came back. That was good.
The only little nitpick I have is that, well, reality of production, I want to imagine that kid was clearly meant to be younger than the actor was.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to understand what death was.
And I didn't feel like that sheltered a society.
Yeah. And she'd been brought into an active war zone as well. So,
I mean, you know, if you've ever watched The Phantom Menace, apparently that's good for a kid. It builds character, I guess.
right.
Yeah, keep him safe. Also, bring him to this war on Naboo.
I remember you quite liked that episode, Trigger, didn't you? Trigger?
Trigger. Say hello to Trigger.
No, sorry, it was. That's the thing. This series, as I said, it kept steady, and that's all it needed to do. And I was just thinking, I was like, I don't think there's any, like, we haven't had the Doctor moment yet, and we haven't had anything. We haven't had a really I don't think we've had that juicy episode that everyone wants.
What's that?
Well, there's always a stupidly juicy episode that everyone just goes, "Oh, it's the best episode we've had of Tennant's run or Capaldi's run." Or
in fairness, it's a very short run so far.
Well, that's the thing, and I was like, as I said, this whole series is literally, it's just for me, it's good across the board, and it's mending a lot of damage that they've done.
It's returning the show to consistency.
And I think that's more important than like basically correcting the people that are like, oh, we want it to be this, this, and this. I went, yeah, but before we get there, we need to do a lot of repairing.
Yeah. And
They'll just tune into an episode and expect it to be, a certain level of good now.
Yeah. Also, the callbacks were nice. They were dealing with Villain Guard, which, well, we know what becomes of the weapon factories of Villain Guard.
Also, what becomes of a broken-hearted?
I don't really have something for that. So,
Fair.
sorry.
Yeah, I said this episode is like a really good episode because it touched me particularly. The Boom episode touched me just for the sheer fact of if you're a dad, you will instantly recognize no, that's exactly what would fucking happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the guy who died. He was a nice character.
Yeah. The formerly blind guy who, like, the ambulance just killed because it would have taken 4 weeks to heal him, which was too long.
Also, that short sharp scratch thing was very sinister. I liked that.
Yeah. Sharp scratch.
Yeah, and we saw the first appearance of Susan as well in that. Well, not first, but we saw an appearance of Susan in that.
Yeah.
She was that woman, weren't she?
Well, we'd already seen her as the tea lady in the Beatles episode, haven't we?
That's right. Oh, have we not talked about that yet?
No, I don't want to correct Holly that he's jumping all over the board.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! My favourite thing about that music episode is that
I did it again. I completely forgot about that episode.
Yeah, because that was the second episode of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, I've
You
been
even
jumping all
mentioned
over the shop.
Maestro as well.
I know he even mentioned it beforehand that he forgot about the episode. I did it again. I was just like, wait for the comedic effect. Wait until he realizes it.
I like that episode as well. I don't know why I just blank on it.
So here's the thing about that episode. I think that there was a deliberate reference to Billy Cobb in that, and it's okay to leave your dog in a hot car.
I've got a dog. You got a dog.
Your dog. It's okay to leave your dog in a hot
Right, Seb, explain what that is.
Right, so there is a mock Beatles song that was made with the lyrics "It's okay to leave your dog in a hot car," along with spoof interviews of Paul McCartney and John Lennon talking about the origins of that song. It's like, it was a very different time, and I believe it was Paul that wrote that. I mean, it's like, no, it wasn't me. It was John Lennon. He hated dogs, and he was right to, little bastards. Yeah, and because it was specifically mentioning dogs, I feel like that was a deliberate reference to the "It's okay to leave your dog in a hot car" song.
That seems a bit of a stretch.
I choose to believe.
Link in chat for those interested.
It's okay to leave your dog in a hot car. It's a genuinely good song, one. Nothing bad could possibly happen if you leave your dog in a hot car. Anyway, yeah, that episode. I loved the Beatles in that episode. I liked the idea behind it and the basic premise of this guy used the devil's note and then summoned Maestro. Maestro was a funny character. They could have very easily have been annoying, judging by the character design, like with no context. But no, I liked Maestro.
Yeah, it was very over the top, but it was also like it was a kind of pantomime-esque villain that I'm
Literally,
that sorry.
literally. I mean, the character just screamed pantomime design.
Yeah,
That's a
and
compliment.
I think that was pretty well implemented. I didn't. I quite. I'm neutral on the fourth wall breaks. I think it's okay if this is a season that does that, long as they
It's
don't overdo it.
okay.
But it's like I did laugh when the doctor said, "I thought that was non-diegetic."
Oh yeah, because I know you have a particular fondness or like humor for diegesis.
Yeah. Well, I think shifting diegesis is a very fun technique to use.
Okay, I just checked.
Yeah.
I just checked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not a reference to that. That
Don't kill my hope.
I don't think that has anywhere near the sort of popularity you think it has.
That's what surprised me. I was like,
'Cause
you know about this?
it started off as it started off as a tweet attributed to Taylor Swift.
What?
Apparently, it was yeah. It started off as it's okay to leave a dog in a hot car. Um, it was a song lyric originally attributed to Taylor Swift, posted on Twitter in November 2017. And because that didn't really get on very well, a year later, it was reattributed to the Beatles, where it got a bit more notoriety. And then in 2020, it picked up. So yeah, it's not that well known. As I said, it was sort of like it was a joke that kind of didn't work, and then they sort of rebranded it. So yeah.
They've rebadged it, you fool.
Yeah. I can't. This. No. I do. Like that episode. I like that. Like obviously they'll bring up the fact of the Doctor's ethnicity later, but like they didn't jump at the chance of the fact that they're in the 60s to do that. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it wouldn't have been so much a big deal in the UK, more so in like America. If they did a 60s episode in America, I don't think they could have avoided it, but
Yeah.
you know.
So, and it was good that well, the gods in Doctor Who seem to be like primordial manifestations of concepts. So
I love
with
that as an idea, bringing gods into it.
the toy maker is, well, I mean, at the end of the season, Sutek rattles them off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Toy maker's the god of games, Maestro's the god of music, and without music, humanity dies.
Yeah.
Because now I don't know whether I believe that's what would happen. But
I think it's more of a spiritual death rather than a literal death.
Yeah.
No,
Elton John disappeared.
I think that's possible.
I think the logic they used to follow it does have some merit to it. So it's like without music for people to unwind with or express themselves with, everyone's much more tightly wound.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's other situations as well. For example, soldiers on the march, for example, would sing to keep their spirits up on the march.
Yeah.
So without that, they would be, you're talking about a lot more stress and issues like in war.
Yeah, bad for morale.
Also, morale at home without you're talking about a Second World War without the songs of like Vera Lynn.
Yeah.
And other sort of, or the First World War without all the songs and poetry sort of at the end of the First World War.
Or
as
the
well,
water
which was a
about
lot of
Smash
people's
Mouth.
coping mechanism after the horrors of the First World War. It was that poetry, it was that music, it was so yeah, you can see the world spinning quite badly out of control without that.
Yeah, just
No,
because
not
there's
even national anthems and things would be gone.
yeah,
There wouldn't be the same cultural sort of thing. There wouldn't be folk songs. There wouldn't be, that would bounce around. You'd be surprised how
it's
much of a
difficult to
musical history the
comprehend a
world
world.
has.
Yeah, music is like sufficiently fundamental to the human experience, or at least what we in modern times would know of it, that I struggle to imagine a world without it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good idea for an episode of Doctor Who, and I thought that was a good, like, god for the Doctor to fight.
Yeah. And I quite like the musical number at the end.
Yeah.
So,
I think some people are a bit polarized by how many musical numbers there are in this season, but I personally like it. We know Russell T Davies is a theatre geek, and we love him for it.
I am also a theatre geek, so obviously, like,
You are the
so,
target
so
audience here, Ollie.
yeah, so it really baffles me that twice today I forgot about this episode. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, anyone else have anything to say on the Maestro episode?
No, I say it's more, this one again. It's on that level, isn't it? It's like you get just enough to make you more interested in the whole the Chaos Pantheon. I think.
Yeah.
I think one gripe, like, it's not even a flaw of the episode, is that it came so soon after the giggle.
The spacing is a little bit weird on this one, I must admit.
But I think that's just down to the series being way too short. My main problem with this season was just that there weren't enough episodes. I would have appreciated 2 or 3 more.
Yeah,
at the very least.
I've
'Cause
been
now
banging
it's
this
like-
drum with
Yeah.
Trigger for a while now. 8 episodes just isn't enough. You've got to spend time with characters.
Also, it makes us resent the more out there episodes because we're like, that was a bit of a waste of an episode. They could have been continuing the story. And you don't want to feel that way when this show is so consistently good now.
Yeah. Like,
So if we had 12 episodes and then had
I would have loved that.
if we'd had the Beatles episode at the midpoint
Yeah.
to give us a
I agree.
reminder that this pantheon is around
yeah.
And you could have
and
thrown
then
in an
making
extra
them
member.
move.
Yeah, you could have thrown in an extra member of the Pantheon because it just felt like they weren't a presence through the whole series.
Because then you could have had a couple of other episodes, done a bit more character development, and then you have that midpoint sort of reminder. Yeah, this whole toy maker thing hasn't ended. This other member of his pantheon has turned up. They're setting their sights on your universe now, Doctor. They're coming, and that would have been, as I said, a nice midpoint because you get a few normal light-hearted Doctor Who adventure episodes in between. Give you 6 weeks of forgetting about them, and then they come back with, yeah, we've just completely screwed up your world because we got rid of music.
Yeah.
It's like these, and you make it that one parter because then it's like, yeah, and you have it that the Doctor is like, yeah, they turned up, one of them, and they screwed up the entire future of mankind across the universe.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the future. I mean, when you consider that humanity therefore was wiped out in like by 2024, the world's been wiped out.
And we've seen a lot of species in Doctor Who that have music.
And
Like,
all of that. Oh yeah, when you think about it, rings of thingy.
yeah, that's
With
what I
the
was
sun
thinking.
god.
Yeah.
No music. That parasite god would just go mental. It's like oh, the world,
Yeah.
universe. And it kind of shits on that whole fixed point thing.
Yeah.
That's why I hated that whole fixed point thing, because it was like, oh, it's a fixed point, it'll cause a paradox, blah blah blah. It's like, it's a fixed point when you think it is, when you just want to make it important. But
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
there was no, if humanity's been wiped out, it doesn't matter about one person, because humanity never explored the stars.
Yeah.
And the Doctor just seemed to be very like, oh, I'm just kind of accepting of it. Like, it's like, yeah. That was my one issue with that episode, that it was just too. They set the stakes far too high.
So
And
you
then
know they
acted
had to
like
be reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we've set the stakes as like, the whole future of the universe is at stake. Oh, but sorted, fixed.
You promised me big stakes.
But that's the thing, if the stakes are that high, like Universal, you pretty much know that everything's going to be alright, because how could it not be? This is a
Yeah, that was my
TV
big
series
problem
that
with
needs to
finale.
go on after this point.
But it's just, as I said, it's the inconsistency with the, oh, these are events that can't happen because this is a fixed point. And
Yeah.
yet, in that episode, there was no mention of fixed points. There was no mention of any of that. It was just like,
And Russell T
doesn't
Davis
matter.
was the one that came up with fixed points in time, right?
Yeah,
Russell T. movie.
and it was like, it just doesn't matter, because we're going to be reversing it anyway, so we just won't mention it.
Yeah, it's just gets rid of all the drama when you know that they're going to reverse it, because how could they not?
Yeah.
And they can't just keep doing that to us. I think the way to do it would have been to have a penultimate episode be the finale of the season, and then you're like, oh my god, what now? We're going to have to wait a year to find out. And then the whole of the next season is about reversing what's happened. Like, maybe you could have a few more survivors of a rolling death, and then you see how various species in the Doctor Who universe are adapting to
I was
survive.
going to say, Seb,
and-
you're going on to the final episode.
I know we've not been doing this in sequence, but this is Doctor Who. Nothing is in like chronological sequence in Doctor Who. It's just
Because I was still on about the Maestro.
yeah,
Because the Maestro technically wiped out the universe.
Yeah.
true.
I
Because
mean,
humanity going to the
God,
stars,
no.
that meant pretty much the Daleks probably ruled everything.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be back in a second.
okay.
Because they would be like the only species that didn't care about music, unless there was like a musical part of their past that we never heard about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So yeah,
just removing music from the equation. Yeah, I retract my previous statements. I do believe that that's how it would go.
Yeah, you're right. I'll do it a bit. I'll do it shortly. Alright.
Okay. So anything else to say on the Boom episode or 73 Yards? Because we're approaching the 90-minute mark, and I'm conscious of the fact that we. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, so what part are we on now?
Yeah, I was just saying. Yeah. So Maestro, good episode. Concept of no music, bloody terrifying. Really well done. I like the vibe. The twist at the end. Song number was good. So Landmine episode and 73 Yards. Any other thoughts on those?
73 Yards was my favourite episode this season.
Yeah, and to a point, you know that everything's got to be okay there, because the whole, it's never explained why the Phantom Ruby freaks people out and causes them to run, but it even works on her mom. And like that was like the big.
That's what made it so heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was the big gut punch for me. And she straight up changes the locks on her.
Yeah.
Gets an injunction and says even your real mom didn't want you. And it's like, well, that's got to be.
Yeah, like that's the worst possible thing that Ruby could have heard.
Yeah, and also she would never say that.
No, we know enough about her to know this.
Yeah.
The one thing about this episode that really ticks me off,
Yeah,
is the thing that they let on in the after show.
I
didn't see the after show, so I'm
not a lot of people do. That's it's
not
the
a lot of people
hilarious
know
thing.
that.
Yeah, you told me about this, but go on.
So basically, no one knows what she says because they don't know.
I don't mind that because it's not what's said that's important; it's the fact that it was said.
Yeah, and those like hand signs also were just made up on the spot, right?
Yeah, and it's like, as I said at the time, it's like this is very much one of those episodes where it's like you can tell we've gone back to the idiot writer for this one, because it's like you had an idea and you ran with it, but you had no fucking follow through for it, and it was like,
if you have nothing like solid, if you've got okay, this is from my experience like running RPGs and stuff. If I have nothing behind a certain thing, like there's a big plot point that I've brought up that I have nothing solid behind it, like no solid words or things behind it, the last thing I would do is admit it.
the
And
last thing you do is admit it, and I'm like,
that's where they made the mistake. They, instead of saying like, oh yeah, we said the words, like, oh, what were the words? Oh, it was, you could say like, oh, it was different for every individual.
If you just gone, oh,
It was,
that would be
it
telling.
was it was different to every individual, so I can't tell you, or something else. You don't just say, oh, I didn't have anything.
Yeah, we just made it up.
A magician never reveals this.
That's,
Yeah, a
that's
magician
like
never
a
reveals their
magician.
secret.
That's like a magician going like, I've got, you don't know what I've got up my sleeves.
Arms. It's always arms.
Yeah, but it's that, like, they're wearing a short sleeve shirt and they're like, oh yes, but you can't tell what I've got up my sleeves because short sleeve shirt. It's like, what? You've got no sleeves. What the hell?
I think I said
it's like,
I think I said to you, Hawk, I was happy when they rolled it back in at the end and they didn't make this episode completely fucking useless, because I was like,
it's that admitting you've got nothing, or you've not thought it through and it's just an empty mystery box. You don't admit you've got nothing. It's the bluff in poker. You don't admit to the other players you had nothing. Unless you've got to turn your cards over, you don't turn your cards over. You just, just chuck them in the discard. That's it. Why admit it? It's just stupid. It makes you look incompetent.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the reveal behind the curtain? I don't know, because I didn't come up with anything.
I generally
Yikes.
don't like that approach to anything that is meant to be a mystery. I kind of think if you're writing a mystery, you need to know what the secret is.
Yeah. Or at the very least, you fudge it at the time. You don't confess it. You go, oh, maybe that'll be revealed later.
But if you fudge it
Wink
at the time,
and a
it's
nod,
often
like,
obvious that that's what you did anyway. So
yeah.
But that was, this episode was getting so much heat, and it was like, well, you didn't have anything, so I'm not bloody surprised.
Yeah.
I was like, what did you think was going to happen?
I mean, I didn't think the episode was hurt by that much as a viewing experience, but
Oh no, as a
It's a
viewing
piece of trivia
experience.
that's annoying.
But that's the thing that a load of people went, it's very confusing, and I went, yeah, because they didn't know what they were doing, and it was.
me,
Brilliant. I have no idea what's going on.
to me, it was like a pattern I've noticed in this season. Russell T is doing a lot of similar episodes than he did during his previous run, but like a second-rate version.
Yeah.
This was a second-rate turn left.
right.
I
I
preferred its turn left, you know.
Well, sometimes he has really good episodes, and he's got like the whole thing down. But this literally was one of the episode where he was like, "Oh, I'm proud I did this episode," and it's like, yeah, it shows, mate. It really does.
Because it was the whole, it's a big budget. What if, but just with a weird sort of like the ending. It's what I think's happened. I mean, we'll get more into this in the later episodes. What I've noticed with Davis is he's gone down the Moffat route
of
of
mystery box storytelling.
no, no, no. It's the we won't give you any kind of build up. It's Moffat is really bad for the Deus Ex. There'll be no inkling of what he's going to do, but what we'll get is the Doctor. I mean, Chibnall was terrible for this. Chibnall was absolutely terrible for this. It's the we get to the end of the episode, the stakes have been raised up and up and up and up and up, and then what we'll get is the Doctor just going like blah 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 blah, blah and then they win.
Yeah. You promised
And
me
it's
big
like, what?
juicy steaks.
What happened? You like glance away and it's like, what? The villain's defeated, the Doctor's won, and it's like, well, there wasn't even any kind of like. It's not like there was a weakness or a thing you'd heard of or something in the episode. It was like it's just like a little bit of a ramble of the Doctor rambles, something happens, and then end. And it's
It's
so fast and so just spewed out
what amused me about that
that
episode
it's like,
was
what?
like Hank William was they're interviewing him and it's like, yeah, you're not gonna nuke everyone though. Yeah, I might. And then like for some reason there were only two people in the whole world who thought, okay, this guy seems a bit fishy.
Yeah.
But only two people who had a problem with him. It's like, I'm obviously evil, and then everyone's
Yeah,
like, oh, I like it.
I could really nuke. I could really do with nuking everyone today. What?
Also, I just think it's funny that Pakistan agreed to sell all their nukes to the UK. It's like, how do you think he brokered that deal?
Yeah.
Promise I won't nuke everyone. Well,
I
you
could really do
promised,
with nuking
Got on
everyone.
Facebook Marketplace.
What? I mean,
Yeah.
hugging. Hugging is what I meant.
Yes.
nuke-
Come over here and let me cut you. I mean, hug you. It's that's what I mean though. It's with that episode, it wasn't quite as bad because you did have the sort of like build up with the anyone who talks to the woman goes crazy and runs away. It just
Sounds
was
like
a bit.
my
Yeah.
ex.
Like, you know, enough was put in place that you understand that. So even if you don't understand the why of it,
But
you-
then that didn't end the time loop. That didn't end the thing. It was her dying that did.
yeah.
That was just a she saved the world moment. That wasn't the end. The
Yeah,
end was
that was a bit
just
weird.
she died.
It was a bit weirdly placed when that wasn't like the thing that concluded it all.
Yeah, it's not like she fixed the future and that's what the story was. The story was she just had to live out her life.
And then at the moment of death, she becomes that woman and makes the Doctor
that's
not
what I
step
mean,
on
there
the
was-
fairy circle.
So that's what I mean. There was no
It sounds like it's a
inkling of where
fairy
that
circle then.
ending was coming from. It wasn't like it was something she had to overcome. She just had to live it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
could have just
it's
ended
like,
after she
what?
beat the guy, because that was the climactic moment.
Yeah, her dying
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
like,
old
it
age.
could have just been her, beating the guy.
And then we go back to the Doctor and Ruby arriving there, and the episode never technically happens.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It was like it's aside from preventing her own accident, it's just there's nothing there. It was like a big budget non-event.
Yeah.
A bit, as I said, this is why I say it's like a second-rate turn left, because turn left, you had the analysis afterwards. You had the like, oh, with most people it's usually just this, but with you it was like big old parallel universe. The Doctor's confused and and Donna's confused, and it's like, and she's like, oh, but why did it have that effect on me? Because I'm nothing, and the Doctor's reminding her again, that you're not nothing. No one's just nothing.
Yeah.
It's everyone's
Except for
special.
the
And
honey
everyone's
monster.
So it meant turn left meant something. This was just almost filler.
Yeah. I mean, I like that they brought it back in a way later, but
I mean, the what if, the
And-
bring back unit freaking out, that was lovely.
yeah, I did
Yeah,
They come in with all
still.
the technology and everything, and Kate just like bailing.
Yeah.
That was like, whoa.
That was funny. Like, her eyes time her head out.
That was so harsh.
I
Like,
did
she's
still
like,
really enjoy it
just
as a-
calls them off like freaking run.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did still really enjoy it as a viewing experience.
Yeah.
But as given its place in an 8-episode series,
Yeah,
It-
that's
Was my
where a
biggest
lot of
problem
these
with
fall
it.
down.
yeah,
If that was a 12-episode run, that would have had more of a place. Like Rogue.
Yeah.
Rogue. If this was,
Again,
if this
I
was a
liked
20-episode
Rogue.
run, even better. It'd have been a great episode.
I
But
thought,
it's like, you've only got 8 episodes. Why are we getting filler?
yeah, and
Why are we getting expensive filler?
But what was expensive about it, really? Was it just the
Oh
fact
no,
it
that
was
would have
a
been an
football
expensive
stadium?
episode to make.
there was a
because you've
lot of
got
locations.
You've got a lot of locations. You've got a lot of guest stars coming in.
The makeup jobs for Ruby for being
Yeah,
various
the-
different ages.
There was a lot of set pieces in different locations, in stadiums and things. You had a lot more actors in it than you would normally have. Cast of the pub, cast of the stadium, the
I
unit
liked the pub
team.
though.
It's as I said, it's like Turn Left when you had all the, you had all the unit personnel, the alternative universe stuff, the people in up north. You had a lot of people who aren't your regulars.
Yeah.
Do you know what the people in the pub reminds me of? Have you ever heard of American Werewolf in London?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they reminds me of a bit. Like, what's that cross for? And then, like, they're just, like, not playing ball.
Yeah. How'd you pee with your phone?
I liked that because it wasn't immediately clear what time period they were in. And I was like, oh, they are in the present day. Okay, I see what they did there.
Yeah.
Okay, have we? Oh, Rogue.
Rogue.
Rogue
Yeah.
was a neat episode. I personally really liked it.
I think Rogue was our only historic episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is weird, really.
But 8 episode season.
No, the 60s one. That was a historic one.
Oh yeah, that was historic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's historic
We
and
only
there's
had-
historic, isn't there?
Yeah. Okay, so you mean like pre-20th century?
So, yeah, period piece. Granted, yes, it made no sense, but given the year, it made no sense.
Yeah.
Well, it was the middle of the Napoleonic War, and they were acting like the UK wasn't at war.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, like, you weren't going to have, like, sandbags and gas masks. Because if you were wealthy and you lived, the British Isles, you wouldn't really have much to fear.
Yes,
Also,
but
the Napoleonic Wars were very on
they-
and off.
Yes, but they mention they would start wars. The
Yeah,
UK's
it's kind of
already at war.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they didn't mention the Napoleonic Wars
Yeah,
anyway.
it was like there are much better places than where they were that they would get that experience. It just seems unusual for it to be like a London, like a ball in the UK.
Having a ball.
As for the episode, I think Jonathan Groff's a fantastic actor and Rogue was a fun character, but I don't know, the whole, and also the whole Find Me thing that is just never brought up again doesn't quite work for me.
I assume that'll be a next season thing.
Yeah. But then he's
um,
been trapped in presumably close proximity to 6 aliens that are very angry with him and fully capable of killing him.
Oh, we can body them.
There's also, this is another point, another time in this series where I had the same problem as the other one.
It's like, why are you have 8 hours of programming? Why are you using one of them to do
No.
this? Kind of.
No, it's okay. What we don't get is a lot of explanation about the villains. Right. So we have aliens who are just referred to as alien cosplayers.
Oh, and because
Clearly-
Dan's not here, I will.
You know,
I want to step in and do this for him because he did it last time we brought this up. That's not cosplay that they were doing. That's LARPing. If you're gonna co-opt nerdy things, at least get your terminology right.
Yeah.
but also, I
But-
think the general audiences are more likely to not cosplaying is than laughing, so I'm guessing that's probably why they did that.
Oh, look at that! I almost
this-
care.
But
Yeah.
there's one difference. There's one difference. They're not trying to keep things historically accurate.
Yeah.
That's where that episode fell apart for me. Right? This was another one of those episodes where the Doctor just doesn't care about continuity and the timeline. It's like, okay, so aliens can come to Earth, potentially replace like leading people, and the Doctor is very just sort of nonchalant, like, oh yeah, that's fine, you know, like clearly if these people have seen this time period, were they just observing the 1800s, or was there like a time element? We know nothing about them or what they're doing.
Yeah.
The potential problems for the future are vast, especially given that they were saying like, oh, we could take over the king
Yeah.
and start wars. It's like
That
that's
would
the
be a
sort
more
of thing.
interesting premise for an episode.
That's aliens in London. That's aliens in London again. That's the Doctor was more concerned then, you know, Slovene in Downing Street.
Huh.
You know, the Doctor
Sounds
was a
okay,
lot
better
more
than we got
concerned
now.
about it then.
Hey.
In this episode, it was like, oh, it's just alien cosplayers. And
Yeah.
doesn't seem to give a damn. It's
Oh,
like,
we've missed Dot and Bobble as well. Dot and Bobble.
Ooh.
it's this weird sort of
That episode
Like,
grew on me as it went on.
the same showrunner who kept saying like it really matters whether a person dies on the moon, on Mars, or on Earth, could change the universe and ruin the world, ruin everything, and yet destroying all music, oh, that doesn't matter. Taking over the king, oh, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like either fixed points matter or fixed points don't. Either the timeline matters or it doesn't. You can't just pick and choose and go like,
I think he
some
has been a
episodes
bit
it matters,
more.
some episodes it'll cause a paradox that'll wipe everyone out. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to matter whether it's an important person or not, because I don't think Pete Tyler was really that important. But, you know, Pete Tyler getting killed, you know, surviving ruins the world. but alien cosplayers killing random people, taking over the world. The Doctor's like fine with that.
I guess it was just always meant to happen.
Yeah, but it's just it's this weird. One episode they care, one episode they don't.
Yeah, the rules are inconsistent. Is what. Yeah.
That's why I said fixed points are bullshit.
Yeah.
That whole fixed point thing was always a bad idea.
Yeah. See, the thing is, the going back on your own timeline thing, I can get behind.
That makes sense. That makes sense. The whole because then there's two of you there. There's that's you have that and other things. It's like you don't want multiple, except the Doctor has done that, which kind of makes sense why it goes so screwed up.
Yeah.
In the episode where they do, because Rose literally crosses her own timeline.
Yeah, I think it's when you directly influence your own timeline, it gets very messy.
Because remember, Rose literally ran out in front of Rose to save Pete.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was introduced at that point. I thought she wasn't born yet.
Yeah, but the Doctor takes
Not
her back
that
in
one.
time.
Sorry.
The Doctor takes her back in time, and there's the first time they're there, and then there's the second time they're there, and Rose runs out the second time and runs in front of herself to stop
Yeah,
it.
it's important not to get ahead of yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Seb.
Okay, Dot and Bubble, because we're approaching time.
I liked it eventually. At first,
Okay.
I, like you, Ollie, thought it was going to be another, young people.
Okay, I'm just gonna. I went on a fucking journey with this episode across 2 watch-throughs of it.
And I still had to tell you at the end.
Well, no, that was after the first one. I'll
Yeah.
get to that. Because, it starts off with a young woman waking up. Oh, she's in a bubble. She's on social media all the time. Oh, God, it's going to be one of those, oh, you young people and your phones thing, isn't it? Oh, turn off your bubble. Oh, bubble. Haha, very clever. Fuck off. It's like...
Fuck off, old people.
Yeah. And then...
Okay, boom.
walking right into... Like, the slug monsters were legit, like, creepy for me, though. Like, maybe I just don't like slugs very much. Yeah.
I don't ever.
But, yeah, it was an... But then, like, right at the end, and I'm gonna, like, work through, because we all know what happened. I love the fact that the reason they're all being killed is because the technology they rely on that has had to listen to all their inane bullshit day in and day out just fucking hates them.
Yeah,
It cracks.
that was funny.
I love that development. And also, at the end, when they're all, like, they were all revealed to be, like, white supremacists, and I missed the voodoo line, so I didn't... I thought they were just sort of like the whole hyper-rich elite type that didn't want to associate with the poors. But no, and Trigger pointed out that the voodoo thing, no, that was literally a racism, white supremacy thing. And it's like, and then I watched the episode again. It was right the fuck in front of you the whole time. There are so many signs of it, and I didn't get any of them.
The thing is, they're only really signs if you're looking for them.
Yeah, but that's the point.
You could easily just dismiss... I mean, I knew about that on my first watch through.
Because I accidentally spilled it to you, didn't I?
Yes. You have a nasty I mean, you spoiled Sutek for me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can't
I'm
believe that you
sorry.
spoiled racism for Hawk.
So
Yeah, he just doesn't find racism fun anymore.
No, it's not as good as it used to be.
The joke being, of course,
surprise
Hawk.
racism. Oh, you ruined my surprise racism.
For the benefit of the podcast,
There I
Hawk
was-
would
there
never.
I was- That was
Yeah,
expected
like,
to come
one
home
thing
to
the
find all the
audience
lights
know-
off, and there would be like hidden KKK members and stuff, and like, pop out like, "Yay, racism! You kill all the N words."
I only do it
Oof.
against the
Well, I
whites.
mean, who knows can go that far, but okay.
Okay, for the benefit of the podcast, Hawk would never.
No,
I only,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I say I only do it against the whites.
I don't even like that Star Trek episode where freaking Abraham Lincoln refers to Uhura as a negress.
Oh Lord.
And that still gets aired.
Uh,
And it's like, oh my goodness.
oh Lord.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
That
Honestly,
still gets aired.
I was
I-
going to ask
like
a question
six.
about that, but I can't
The-
choose the correct words.
the
I know
But-
it's a weird one.
the thing I
Is
was
that-
getting
is
at
that-
was
is that a mixture of the N word and princess?
the
I think it's I think it is. It's
Uh,
like
it's meant. I think it's meant
a
to be
female version
of
I
the
think
word
it is supposed to be
Negro.
like a feminized version of the N word.
So
And it's
basically,
just
they
like,
invented a new
wow,
form of
how did
racism
that
just for the
fly?
show.
But it's like the point I was gonna make was the I thought the episode was just gonna be old man yelling at Cloud, and then it turns out
Literally, the cloud.
and then on the second watch it's so obvious. She says
No.
she thinks the doctor was like, he said, I thought you just looked the same, but it's the same person, isn't it? And when she says, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, she's talking to the doctor. She ignores the doctor.
Yeah.
She doesn't ignore Ruby. You know, just those little things. And then she says to her friends, he's going to have to be disciplined. It can't wait. And I'm like, oh. It's
Okay.
it's like, in this episode about people not looking beyond their bubble and missing things that are right in front of them, because those little microaggressions, they're a little more than micro, but you know what I mean. Because they were outside of my sphere of experience, I missed them in an episode that is about that happening on a much
Ollie,
more visceral
I
scale.
would say though, Ollie, that makes you a normal person because normal people don't see fucking racism everywhere.
See, I'd have said, okay, so I knew that it was coming, the racism, on my first watch through. And until it got, I would say, actually quite near the end, it could have easily been dismissed as a generational thing.
Yeah.
Like, the scoffing, the looking away, the
Yeah.
sort of not paying attention.
Yeah, but that's really good misdirection, though.
It was like, but it's when I wouldn't, no, I'm saying like I wouldn't say it was like I mean you could explain it as like when you find out their real motivation is the fact that it is racism. So at the end, yes, you do know their real motivation behind the reason why they were doing the whole looking away and scoffing and stuff. But at first, it could be anything. It literally could be anything. It doesn't seem. It's not evident as people say on a second watch through that it's like, oh, it was clearly racism all the way through. It's like, no, it wasn't.
No, it is when you know that's what it's leading to.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Though it was just disrespectful at first.
I mean,
could have been
racism
disrespectful
is
to
also
anyone.
disrespectful, but yeah.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for that one guy who was actually nice.
What, Ricky?
And, yeah, and how Ricky got sold out. That was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I'm stealing this from a YouTube comment. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, but someone pointed out he acted like the Doctor would have if Lindy was a companion. He acted like the Doctor would have. He guided her through the slugs. You know, didn't tell her her homeworld was destroyed. Promised to get her out of it, and then she friggin' sold him out.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Justice for Ricky.
Yeah. And also, like, he was one of the ones that, like, he doesn't use the bubble that much. Drops his songs
Yeah,
on.
like, the reason he's not like that is because he actually reads books.
Yeah. And yeah, the whole bubble metaphor is very heavy-handed, but like, like
I'm glad
you
there
know,
was more than met the eye.
but also the message at the end that like that kind of closed-mindedness is comically self-destructive, and the fact that the Doctor doesn't care. He doesn't care what they think of him. He just wants to save them. He's doing it for
Yeah.
him.
It's a character episode, and that is just the Doctor all over.
Yeah, he
But even the
doesn't care.
Doctor seems confused by it.
Yeah,
Like right up until the point where they say directly to him, you know,
Yeah.
one of you.
yeah. And then
And he's
when
like, what?
and then Ruby gets a little disgusted, and you could see why she would, because well, she was adopted by a family of color.
Yeah.
So, you know, she won't be unexperienced in these things, even though she doesn't have to deal with them personally herself. But
Yeah,
then
like she will have had to have dealt with it through second-hand experience.
yeah, and she will be more likely to spot them than the average person would because of that.
Yeah.
But then the Doctor just straight up goes, "Look, I don't care. Okay, just let me save your lives. I'll do whatever you want." And
And still, you get the some. I mean, there was a little bit of a hint before that. As soon as there was someone else to talk to, she wouldn't look at the Doctor.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was like I would say that was the first sign. She was much more accepting of the young guy, but you could explain that as like, oh yeah, he's a young, handsome guy, and she kind of has a crush on him. You know, she fancies
yeah.
him.
But that's the
But it's
thing.
like it's when they're directly in the same room, and she's like glancing away from the Doctor.
It was
every time,
all
it's like,
caked in so much deniability that you wouldn't get it, you wouldn't spot it unless you knew it was there.
yeah, unless you literally were.
It's a completely different experience on the second watch because of that.
Well, yeah, because then you know what her motivation is, so you're looking for it.
Yeah. And I
You're-
just think
you-
that's a really I just think that's a really neat feature of the episode.
Yes.
Because when she's on the bubble, you can't tell precisely where she's looking. So it's not like she ignores the Doctor when Rose is there, when Ruby's there.
Yeah.
See, if it was like Ruby was on one side and the Doctor was on the other, and you saw her constantly shifting her view away from him to look at Ruby,
Yeah.
it might have lent to it, and you didn't really get the you references, like sort of like it's your kind.
Yeah. I think
It was way it's
it was very well
it
disguised
was
in
that sort of, do you know what it was? It was that
Cutting your nose to
it was
spite
that
your face.
tolerance thing.
yeah.
It was that bullshit tolerance thing where it's like you hate something or someone, but you're just feigning politeness to them.
Yeah. And
But you are constantly doing these like quite unpleasant things, like you're dismissive of them. You're looking away, you're doing this stuff, you're acting weird to them for no reason. You would rather act
just
normal
real
with
passive
a
aggression.
stranger than you would with them,
Yeah.
despite the fact that. But then again, she did just literally let the other guy die.
Yeah.
for
And
her
then
own
like
sort of-
they have a
and then
chance
lied
to
about
live
it.
and they go off, and that's the thing, they're still choosing the bubble. They go off with the others and they're going to die. Like an hour ago,
Yep.
that bitch couldn't walk without arrows in her face, and you think they're
Yep.
going to tame a planet?
Yes, it was rather sort of Milton-esque at the end, like, but just by like a bunch of incompetents. Like, oh, it's better to rule in hell than serve in heaven. Oh wait, we don't even know how to like start a campfire. We're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
we know nothing.
yeah,
We
and
don't even. We're gonna go out and we're just gonna be like, does anyone know how to hunt? No.
No.
Anyone know how to like cook food? Nope. Oh, we're screwed.
yeah.
They're
We
going to
should
be
have gone with
cannibals
that
within
nice
a week.
black man.
They're going to be cannibals within a week, and then probably die of food poisoning.
I can excuse racism, but I can't tolerate being saved.
You can excuse racism? That was the Community meme, wasn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think we've had enough on Bubble.
Yeah.
Should
Yeah.
we get through to the?
To
Yeah.
last us a lifetime, right?
Yeah. I really liked the writing tricks that episode did, basically.
Which
This show
episode?
has been very good this season of not being overly predictable.
Yeah. Because when it started, I thought I was going to hate it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
okay, Boomer, we know you don't like us being on our phones,
Go
Oh.
outside and touch grass. That'll be the way to defeat the slugs.
Yeah, turn off your
But they can't-
bubble.
but
Fuck
they can't
off.
travel on grass. They'll be defeated by grass. That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
Like you go out and eat grass, and they can't swallow you or something.
Yeah.
The
grass has
how heavy-handed.
The grass has a higher sodium content on this planet. It will literally shrivel them.
Yeah, they have to travel on the roads all the time. Like you never see them on the grass, and it's like, go on, Boomer, go outside and touch grass, and you'll be fine. You'll be safe. And
Yeah.
that's how they win, and they win back their society because they went outside and touched grass.
Yeah.
Good work, Boomer.
Okay, I think we're about on to the finale two-parter now, unless I've missed another one, which I might have.
Well, the bubble happened before Rogue, which we already discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's Okay, so
Rogue
we've
or
done
Aliens in London.
Alien. Yeah.
No, not Aliens in London. The Doctor Dances. See, that's what I mean. There's so many episodes which are so similar to his first season.
Yeah.
We have Aliens in London. We have the Doctor Dances. We have well, there's I don't
This
think
time
it's
the
on
Doctor
Turn
Dances with a
Left,
bloke.
but that's a later episode. We have so many rehashes of his other episodes.
Yeah. And like I can see that in some of these. And well, to be fair, I think I have sympathy for the idea that a writer would fall back on things that worked for them before. But yeah. But then I actually did quite like I keep forgetting what the episode was called. The one before the finale, the lead in to the
Penultimate. I preferred that to the finale, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree, but also I kind of thought that wasn't the memory room scene kind of long?
I can't remember.
Like, although I did laugh with the whole, do you have a memory room? We swore never to meddle with time. You forbid it yourself. Do you have a memory room? 10 floors down.
Yeah.
That was funny.
You told us in the 70s never to meddle with that.
Yeah, but do you though? Yes, at 10 floors
Yes.
down.
It doesn't work
I
very well.
like how Kate's just honest with him.
Yeah, and I love how the Doctor is just like, oh wow, this is janky. Like, he's looking at the memory room and is like, this looks like it's cobbled together with duct tape, mate.
The
Which
thing
is
is,
hilarious
that's,
because usually his shit is.
Yeah,
Bro.
duct tape
The
and
thing
wishful
is,
thinking.
I mean, it's
That's-
like, okay, they're breaking rules, but they're doing what I would do, so it can pass.
Yeah.
no, the
Doing
thing
it in a
is,
prestigious way.
that was like a thing even in during the fourth Doctor's time thing.
That is
like
the
in
error
Robot.
that I hate the most, by the way.
Sorry?
That is the error that I hate the most.
What,
Well,
Tom
the fourth
Baker?
Doctor, Tom
Wait,
Baker.
No, the you know the bits where he's stuck with Unit without the TARDIS.
That's the third.
Is it that's the
That's
That's the
John
third,
Pertwee,
yeah.
I
But
think.
what I was going to
It's-
say was during the fourth era, you get this sort of, the episode Robot where they're, all these circuits and things get stolen, and the Doctor sort of goes like, oh, clearly it was this stolen, this stolen, this stolen. Oh, like the things you would need for a complicated mechanical device, something like, and looks up at the Brigadier at this point because he's got sort of a monocle in because he was analyzing a crushed daisy, and he's like a disintegrator gun.
Hmm.
And Brigadier's like, what? How do you know about that? And he's like, oh, don't worry. And he sort of winks and sort of touches his nose, like, I won't tell anyone.
I won't tell if you don't.
I like
No,
he's got a
it's
soft
like-
spot for you in it. Let's face it, if Torchwood did that, he'd be livid.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. Like, at certain times, the Doctor's like, it's your planet. You need to defend it at times.
Yeah.
I don't always approve of what you do to defend it, but at least you're trying to. You're not just shooting first anymore, but
Yeah.
you are developing ways of defending yourself. You're being open-minded to aliens out there and that they might be peaceful and things.
Yeah.
Because the Brigadier at first was a lot more like shoot first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, with Kate, he does the same thing. It's like, oh, I don't want you meddling with time. Like I told in the 70s.
Yeah, like he trusts her enough
we've
to
got
know
this
that she
time
won't do
window.
it irresponsibly.
Yeah, he trusts her in the like every time we've seen him with Kate, it's been like he trusts her
Yeah.
to not dick around with advanced technology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
whereas with Torchwood, it's more of an unknown quantity because they can be shady as fuck at times.
Whereas the third Doctor, as Trigger rightly says, was a lot more scathing when it came to like, oh, the Brigadier's making something. Oh, you won't ever make that work. Oh, meddling with things you don't understand. I love
Would have
that
got
time
away
period.
with it if it weren't for that
The
middling
third Doctor was
Brigadier.
my Doctor. The dandy Doctor. With his funny car and his flying car.
I like it when characters have their own car, like a Batmobile.
Oh, he had Bessie. He had Bessie too.
Is that John Pertwee?
I loved John Pertwee. John Pertwee was my era. Fencing with the Master and stuff, and
It'd
just
be good if they brought that back, like the Doctor Finn, because we've seen him fight the Sycorax.
just. But I can see why Trigger doesn't like it. Yeah,
It's just I do not like
it's a
him
very
being stuck in
niche
the
sort of
same place.
thing. I can see why people don't like it. I can understand that.
By the way, I'm going to have to go in about 10 minutes.
Right, so why don't you wrap us up with your thoughts on the finale two-parter then?
Okay, really
God.
loved part one. Not so much part two. And the reason why is because I just feel like all the tension wasn't there, because we know that when they speed run Endgame, he's just going to reverse it in a few minutes. I think if they were to make that idea of like wiping out practically the whole living universe work, it would have been the season finale, and there would have been a whole season of trying to reverse it, where the Doctor has to live with what's happened and his failure for a while.
Yeah.
That would have
Instead,
been
we
what would have
got-
made it work. But instead, it was just like, yeah, I can fix everyone dying. It's not a
Although
big
I
deal.
just want to ask though, how fucking dead is Gallifrey at this point? Because wasn't he there in 13 different iterations? Well,
No, sir. 13.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, they're essentially exterminating to hell at this point.
Stop, they're already dead.
Yeah.
Already dead like 4 times over. It's like every time they rebuild, someone comes along.
Also,
wipes them
I
out
love
again.
how this Doctor just completely came out with the whole backstory straight away. It's no longer something that he's so traumatized by he has to like conceal it from his assistant. It's just now
Yeah.
companion. It's now just, yeah, my people died and that happened and it
Yeah.
hurt a lot, but it's in the past.
Yeah. I also kind of like that Sutek's been hiding in the TARDIS's perception
Yeah,
filter all this
the
time.
longest running companion of the Doctor is Sutek.
Also,
Bad doggo.
I do want to point out, I do actually just really like this Doctor. I like his
I
vibe.
do as well. He's one of my favourites already. I know that recency bias is a thing, but
Yeah.
I like him.
He's fun to spend time with, and I wish we could have got a bit more.
I saw Ncuti Gatwa for the first time in sex education, and he was great in that. And as soon as I saw him in that, I thought, okay, he's going to be a very good Doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, those 13 TARDISes around Gallifrey, just bursting with death dust. I was like, oh. Although, of course, as you said, as soon as he killed the universe, you knew it wasn't going to last, because how could it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about it. It's just a shame because he had such brilliant build-up to it. And it just felt very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Having said that, I did like the resolution of Ruby. I liked the end of her story arc with meeting the mom and...
I mean, the only problem I have with that is that the Doctor ran a DNA test on Ruby at the start of the season.
Right.
Her
So the
mum
fact
was...
that it was just an ordinary woman, you feel, doesn't make sense with...
Yeah, he would have found her.
Yeah.
But she was an ordinary nurse living in Coventry at a time when DNA records were mandatory.
But
There
maybe
is
she's
no
like,
way
oh,
that
no, her
DNA
mum
test
is from
wouldn't have found her.
Her mum is not from... her mum's from Coventry. There's no way I'm telling her that. I'm not letting her go anywhere near that hellhole.
Well, no,
Find a
'cause
more
the-
rich
the-
hive
the-
of
the-
scum and villainy.
Well, no, because the DNA testing doesn't come into 2040.
Also, maybe she was an anti-vaxxer or something, like she didn't trust the whole,
Well, 2046, but like it was on the TARDIS. Like her mum's DNA was on file as a matter of like legal requirement from 2046 or so onwards.
Which just but that just tells you the TARDIS doesn't have the records in its memory banks of that time period.
All right, yeah,
Also,
fair
because
enough.
it's an important, and because it's an important thing, maybe like Sutek uses influence to like wipe that information in some way.
But Sutek didn't know either. That was what.
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
That was the whole reason he kept them alive.
Yeah, this is also true.
Although I did like that they got the same voice actor for Sutek, who was also the Beast. Like, I mean, that's a great touch.
What, Kelsey Grammer?
Not that Beast.
No. I do love that. Like, he is probably the actor who's taken the longest time to reprise his original role. Like, he played that character in the early '60s, and now he's, back.
No, it wasn't.
But was it? Oh, the early '70s rather. When was it?
It was the fourth Doctor's run.
Yeah, it was
the
the
late
fourth Doctor's
70s.
run. Yeah, late '70s. Okay. Yeah, that's still a long time, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but you say that, but he also did the voice of the Beast, so he is still
Yeah,
on
he
payroll.
is like ambiguously Sutek.
Yeah.
So
Like it's kind of left to the viewer's interpretation whether that's literally Sutek or
Also-
whether
What?
it's meant to be
No, the
Rangers.
Beast is separate because he's referenced twice. Then
death plus
Okay.
death equals life was kind of bullshit, but you need some kind of asshole to fix this, so I'll allow
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was a very Moffat-y sort of.
Hmm.
Oh, what happens when you bring death to death?
Right.
More death.
You get non-existence.
I would say in most places
Death
it
was
goes
funny.
very badly. I remember the story of the soldier and death. It goes badly.
Yeah.
It results in everyone becoming immortal.
No, yeah.
And Torchwood already
It's
did that.
not. It's not fun because it means that people that fall off things and get their neck snapped are still alive.
Yeah, and that's gonna hurt like hell.
It's the Rick and Morty sort of I cannot die, and then he gets machine gunned in the chest, but his ribs are all smashed to pieces, and he still feels it. It's
Ugh.
like, oh,
There was an
Yeah.
episode of the X-Files where that happened.
Yeah. As I said, there is a classic fable where that happens as well. It was on a kid show as well with
The
John
children.
Hurt. John Hurt read it. It was
Yeah.
The Storyteller. It was a series from the 90s where they went into like a lot of like Aesop's fables and a couple of other ones. It was like 20 episodes long, but one of them is The
from One
Soldier
Piece.
and Death. And it's like the soldier gets given a magic bag and he convinces Death to step inside. And Death is gone from the
Not
whole
inside the
world
bag, he just wanted
because
to
it's
bring him in for a
trapped.
cup of tea.
Because he's given like 3 gifts, and yeah, it's quite a fun one. It's one to look up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same, I'd say, is like there was one Rick Mail did at about the same time, very similar,
Oh.
where he reads out the same sort of thing, like
I liked his fable about
fables
why
and
you
stuff.
should pay the gas man even if it's expensive.
Well, as I said, Rick Mail, as I said, did a kids show in the 90s where he just reads out stories.
So he was very much the Michael Rosen of his time.
Maybe. Oh, I do want to say I really liked the coffee shop scene at the end. I just thought it was nice.
Yeah, I think everything after Sutek was dealt with, I really liked in the finale.
Yeah, it was a nice resolution.
Oh, also, I like the memory TARDIS. I like the memory TARDIS, cobbled together with duct tape and wishful thinking.
That was sweet. It was, it was a bit like saccharine, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
Oh my god! What was the deal with not Emma Frost? What the hell was her name? Not River. Storm. The old lady, River Flood.
Mrs. Flood.
Yeah, Mrs. Flood. That person.
Yeah, we still don't know.
No one knows.
Because I like how she was all sinister and like, oh, Suzet's coming to get you. And then when everyone was dying, she was just with everyone like, oh no, everyone's dying.
Yeah. She was like, oh, it looks like my plans have all come to naught.
Well, the thing is that it tells you 2 very important things.
Yeah, she had a plan.
Well, no, she's not part of the what's it called?
She's not part of the Pantheon.
No.
Which is
she's just a creepy old lady.
No, but that's a huge thing, which means we've got a second, like, bad on the field that we don't know.
Yeah, we've got another player on the board,
and we don't still know for sure. I don't think who the boss that the Meep was referring to is.
Well, no, that's why I said I hope it's actually a twisted rogue from that he's basically left in a dimensional hellscape.
That would be so cool. Yeah, I'd love that. Because it's like, no, I loved you and you left me to fucking die. Yes.
Yeah, that would be a lot better.
Oh, speaking of which, I want to point out one thing I thought was really weird was when Ruby was saying goodbye to the Doctor. She says, well, she tells him she loves him, and then he just sort of shrugs it off, and it's like, that's not something this Doctor specifically would do.
No, I love me too.
The thing is, it might be a new defense coping mechanism for him, though.
Yeah.
It might be he just didn't want to break down in front of her.
Because he's done that this season.
I thought that bit was a bit weird, the way she says that.
I don't think it was in a romantic sense, though. I think it was...
No, that's the thing. Very affectionate towards you, kind of way.
It just, to me, it kind of came out of nowhere.
Mm.
It was like, I could understand it, if it had been, say, when he was a bit closer or something like that, or something a little bit less sort of like...
This is why we needed more episodes for them to bond.
Do you know? No, it's not that. It's not that they didn't have a bond. It was a bit... I don't want to say it again. Okay, I'm only going to say this a second time. So,
yeah.
I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to bring on the Legends Candyman. But it was a bit, I love you. I know.
Yeah.
Sort of. Ooh, that was a bit weird. Like.
Yeah, like I could understand any other Doctor doing that, but this one's basically, This guy
See,
hides
if
nothing.
it was like a hug moment, if it was like a hug
Yeah.
moment, and she's like,
If
"I
the
love you,
Doctor more
Doctor,"
in touch
you
with
know,
his
like
emotions.
in a friendly way, like that
This
that
is
called back
post-therapy
a sort of
Doctor.
that called back a more familial relationship,
Yeah.
then yeah. But as it's so sort of like yelling out like "I love you," it just
I
had
know.
a weird tone to it.
I
Like,
suppose.
not quite right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she meant it romantically, but maybe he
No.
thought that. Like,
Just,
I mean, the Doctor
Yeah, but you
can be a
don't-
bit
you
awkward of
don't-
things like that.
you don't tend to holler to someone across an open room, someone who you're just like, whose family, like, "I love you."
Oh
in an
god, that was a
over-the-top
huge bugbear
way.
for me in the Chibnall era when the Chase is trying to tell the Doctor about like his cancer, and she's just like, "Oh well, I don't really know what to do. I'm a bit awkward, so I'm just going to walk away, and then I'll say something later." I hated.
Oh yeah, I
that.
hated that.
Ah! Shut up!
I hated that.
Yeah, that annoyed me so much. Like, this is not meant to be played for laughs. He's just told you that he's got cancer.
Yeah. And he's like, the freaking Doctor at this point is over 1,200 years freaking old.
Well, yeah, a
Or
lot of
she
different
at that
counts.
point.
Yeah,
But it's like,
heaven sent.
what? Most people, when they're socially awkward in that situation, do not walk away.
No, you just say I'm very sorry, and then just move on. Like, you're gonna say something.
Yeah, you stumble over you might stumble over your words
Yeah,
and be like, I'm really sorry to hear that. Or make some sort of faux pas saying the wrong thing, but you don't go like, oh, I'm socially awkward and walk away.
no,
That is a very sorry autism.
yeah. Sorry, autism.
Oh,
I would have
that's
preferred
two.
that.
That's two.
Sorry,
No,
autism.
that's three. If he's going to appear, it'll be now.
Oh no, this is not good.
well, it's we are coming
Right.
towards the. Well, we hit
Yes,
time for the
we need to
podcast
wrap
a
up.
while ago.
I've said Candyman 3 times now.
Right.
Funny thing is, if he's in the chat now,
oh no, he knows.
As the Candyman can.
But shouldn't. The Candyman can, but shouldn't.
Yeah.
yes,
So-
because he
doesn't.
promotes diabetes.
The finale was a bit
Oh,
Deus
Did
Ex
you
Machina.
lyrics for that?
One,
Using that thing, that song maker.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Candyman shouldn't because he causes diabetes with his love.
And
Okay.
it's the world's real shit.
I do want to call attention to that one scene on the dead planet where even memory is dying, and I just think that's quite an interesting concept.
Yeah, why couldn't we explore that further? That was amazing.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, my baby's dead. I'd forgotten.
That was heartbreaking. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I wish they did more with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He mixes
And
it
then
with love and
the
makes the world
resolution
taste
sort
the
of,
Candyman's can.
and the resolution sort of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Mel,
of course it does.
Mel dying was pretty well done
Yeah.
though. I thought.
There were no lasting consequences of it, and I felt like there should have been.
Yeah, like not completely, but like at least some
There should
kind
have
of.
been some, yeah. Like there should have been some reminder of Sutek is not to be fucked with. Because
Yeah.
he just basically took him for, like, tied him to the back of the car on his lead and drove him around town.
Yeah.
God, this show really hates dogs, doesn't it? Go on, Sutek, you're a good doggo. Well, you're not, but you're a doggo.
How many times do you think he'd have to have circled around Gallifrey?
Or to dust them fully. Don't know. The Doctor becomes a crop duster. The problem with Sutek, I had one problem with Sutek. It was like, okay, the whole God of Death thing, God of Death Sutek. It was like, okay, yeah, lots of nice build up. Then it was like, okay, he's got the death dust. Okay, yeah. But then that whole sort of his curiosity stops him just killing everyone. but then it was just how is he really the god of death? It was just like because he's good at it. He started. He seemed more like Richard Hammond. It was like I am a driving god because I'm good at killing. It just seemed like
Next week on Death Gear.
Yeah, but that's how it seemed. It was like like you don't you're like hiding attached to the TARDIS. You're supposed to be this god of death, but it's like I mean, I've never actually seen Pyramids of Mars.
No, you neither have I.
Nor have I.
So I know Sutek is the one they constantly reference when they say the Doctor, the man who's fought against gods and demons. I mean, I've seen the demons ones. I've seen the Sea Devils and the demons and the devil and stuff. So I know when they're referring to demons and stuff because the literal third Doctor fought demons that were older than the Time Lords.
Yeah, and we don't mean like
who
killing
were
addiction.
immensely
We mean
powerful. And I've heard of SeaTech and I've seen clips of the episode.
which
With
aged badly. I
SeaTech.
noticed they completely redid that when they just watched Old Who on the TV in that episode.
But it just, like I said, it was like such a Moffat ending, like waffle or Chibnall ending, like waffle a little bit. What happens when you bring death to death? Like, oh, there wasn't any build up to it.
Yeah.
There's loads of build up to it, just not the payoff. The payoff was
No.
It
There wasn't
was-
a build up. There wasn't
I
a.
see what you mean.
There wasn't a like.
The whole death to death thing came
Preparation.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I meant by. I mean, I was so tempted to say like this last episode was just the ending was just a massive Deus Ex.
It was.
It was just the like we need a way of beating you. So we'll use you to beat you because apparently you can't turn your powers off. It's like what?
But yeah, I really do need to go now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll wrap it up now then. So guys, how would you rate this season overall?
I
I'd
can't
say 7 out
argue
of
with
10, you know? I think it would have been 8 out of 10 if there were more episodes and are of the same quality of the ones we got.
Yeah, I would say so. I think my biggest problem with the episode is with the season is that there isn't enough time with these characters.
Exactly.
I'm gonna watch the next season because I do really like Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor. I want to spend more time with him. And
so apparently Ruby Sunday is coming back for the next season. Apparently that whole rumor about her like being chucked out the show or no longer a part of it isn't true.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what they do with her in season 2.
Yeah.
Because it was very clearly not goodbye the way it was left open at the end.
Yeah, that's true. So Trig, Hawk, your thoughts on the season as a whole?
Well, I'll let Trigger go first because he was sort of you both spoke over him.
Sorry.
All right. First of all, I'm gonna have to do this. Ruby Road. Not Ruby Sunday, Ruby Road.
Yeah.
Done it 3 times.
Ruby, yeah.
Ruby Road, Ruby Road, Ruby Road.
Secondly, she is not.
Scooby-Doo.
No. Secondly, she is not coming back. That was the end. It was very closed. Rewatch the episode.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a like she's leaving.
I just saw that as I've got to deal with this shit. This isn't necessarily goodbye.
No, that was a goodbye. That's hence why the I love you thing. And he's like, yeah, you're not going to see me again bullshit. That's why he went so distant. Because it was like, no, if I let myself in, I'm going to hurt more than I am.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a step in the right direction for the show. And I'm hoping that it continues going upwards and we finally get you know, we've got 3 seasons at least with Ncuti, and I hope that they all continue going up.
Mm.
I think they need to ditch the dead weight of a certain writer that keeps fucking up. I'm not going to name names on that one, but they know who they are.
Right.
Was it Seb?
No, it's not. Seb.
Yeah, I was already going to say that. Yeah, I have not been on my game at all today.
I would actually
then
like to see
you-
what Seb does with Doctor Who.
Well, I already told you. Doctor of the Doctor and
Hold
Dalek of
on,
the
hold on,
Daleks.
you guys. Come
The
on.
Dalek Parliament episode.
Trigger was talking.
Sorry.
No, but as I said, we could literally point out the episodes where he came in and basically last season this, and they need to stop him doing it. If he hasn't got the full story and everything together, they need to pin him down and go, well, until you get that sorted, no.
Finish it. Finish it.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. The episodes he did, you could tell they weren't full ideas, and that's I think let this season down a little bit.
Right. I see.
Well, apparently that episode, the Bubble episode was a bit slapdash, and apparently they had to come up with that relatively last minute because something else they wanted to do fell through.
Well, no, that's wrong as well, because that was the first episode to film because Shooter wasn't on set for it, and they had to do it all by Skype.
Oh yeah, because was it
'Cause
the
he was
first
still
scene
filming.
they filmed? Yeah, the first scene they filmed was
Yeah. This is the thing I had with Jack. I went, Jack, don't bring things up in front of me unless you're sure, because I do the research, and I am the anal one on this sort of thing. Because I'm literally one that will sit there watching loads and loads of reviews and go, I'm gonna fucking fact check you on all of this, you know. And they were
No,
like,
I'm glad you are, because like if I get something wrong, I want you to tell me.
no, but that's the thing. I know it upsets a lot of people when I have to correct them, and it's like, I give you 3. I'll let you have 3, and then my brain starts itching.
I would rather be corrected than be wrong.
But yeah, no, Dot Bubble was the first episode they shot because Ncuti was still filming something else, I believe, at the time. That's why that's why he all of the scenes apart from that one scene at the end, he is literally on a Skype call.
Ah, okay.
I mean, to be fair, for the one scene he is on set, he does bring it.
Because I said I had to check it because everyone was complaining that there was a second episode without the Doctor, and I went, yeah, because this was the first one they seen, and 73 was the second one they shot, and they had him in total on set for, I think it was 13 hours, and then he had to go back.
Right.
So what was it? Basically they had him in the on the Welsh Dales, I think it was, or the Scottish Dales, and then on a green stage for the pipeline episode, and that was it. And it was like, yeah, we literally needed to do these episodes this way because we physically couldn't get him out of contract for like the filming schedule. And that's why, again, it's one of the reasons why I can't remember her name, the woman that plays Ruby Rhodes, basically said their filming schedule was everywhere, and I couldn't deal with it, and that's one of the reasons why she wanted to leave. Because literally, they were being so strict on, well, I'm filming something else. Well, you can't, and we need you on set, and they were being dicks about it. And I was like, I looked into all of this when they brought it up on the the thing, and I was like, because me and Hawk did that the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't believe this for a second that it's because of this, and this. And as I said,
behavior.
I said at the end of the season, I went, from if they reshot the ending because they were going to cut her out of a second season that they've already filmed, I don't buy it. I feel like
ahead on that, aren't they?
no, that's the thing. I went, no. This was planned from the very beginning, and I do not think they're reshooting a whole season it makes no sense because they literally were they said when it came out that she was quitting, they had already filmed 3 episodes with her, and I was like, that's bullshit. Then the whole thing that they were saying was bullshit because it was just literally no, they mean to end her at the end of this season because they would not have filmed with her full episodes if they were going to keep her. Because you don't just throw someone away in the middle of a season because it fucks over your filming.
I do like that she left of her own accord, though. Like, I mean, it's nice for that to happen occasionally.
So I think wasn't that the first thing I said to you, Hawk? Wasn't it, when I saw the last episode? I was waiting for you to see it, and I was like, right, what did you think of that ending? Because I don't believe any of the shit that I've heard online anymore now. Because there's no way that wasn't a reshoot. That was their idea from the beginning, that she was going to be a 1 season and maybe a cameo, and that's it.
And they've already cast the next companion, haven't they?
See, that's the thing. It's from the same news people that said that she got fired for X and Y, and I'm like, maybe this girl that they've got, that they're saying's in it, maybe she's in it for the Christmas specials, and that's it. Because technically, the next time we get the Doctor is going to be a Christmas special.
Wow.
And the New Year's special.
Where's this year gone?
So, technically, we don't know that that's the new companion. This could just be a guest companion for
Like
those
Kylie
2
Minogue.
episodes. Exactly. And I'm like, because that was a huge thing, wasn't it? Where they said that Kylie Minogue was going to be an assistant. And she's like, no, she's in an episode.
Yeah, it was Kylie Minogue is the new companion.
I mean, just because they've seen her on like 3 different sets, that is the scope of a Christmas special. They use different sets a lot.
Yeah.
It's because they saw her on the ship set, the busted ship set, and the London set.
Yeah, which
You
to
know
me,
that busted ship set? Is that how they got to the year 3000?
Seb.
Sorry. I am actually going to go now
We need
because
to
I
make like
have
a Seb
garden
square
tours.
box.
I was going to swear.
but yeah, I say it's very difficult.
You said you needed to go 15 minutes ago, Seb.
Yeah, now I really do. So
Go. But yeah, the just in general though,
Bye, everyone.
it's
Seb.
very
Good night,
difficult
Seb.
for those people that listen to those people now online, and it's like, just watch it yourself at this point. It's because it's turning into a right fuckfest basically and I'm like, I've said to one of our friends who sort of keeps asking me, is it any good or should I watch it? And I'm like, I can't make that decision for you. You're the only person that can tell me if it was a waste of your time or not, and if you enjoyed it. But if you're listening to people that are slandering it and stuff and taking their word as gospel, then I've got a bridge to sell you in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Because, these people that Trigger's talking about will run things down not because they don't like it, but because they have an agenda. It's like, I mean, everyone was telling me, watch One Piece. Watch One Piece. I watched an episode of One Piece, I couldn't get into it. But I don't say it's the worst thing ever. I don't say it's garbage. I just didn't like it.
Well, that's why I have the 3-episode rule when it comes to like animes and TV shows. I watch 3 episodes. If I could not relate to a single thing in those 3 episodes or enjoy anything in those 3 episodes, it's not for me. And I just go, yeah, I tried it, wasn't for me.
As the
I
resident
still
One
won't say
Piece
horrible
fan,
things about it.
as the resident One Piece fan of the podcast, One Piece is paced like garbage, and I completely understand not getting into it.
Aren't they on like
I know, it
episode
wasn't-
1000 something now?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
1100
could
and something.
not-
1100.
could
Yeah,
just-
so
there was just nothing in the first episode. There was no characters I liked. There was nothing that interested me. It was just nothing.
the funny thing is, you might enjoy the live action one better.
The live action one is a lot of fun.
It's actually better paced.
Yeah.
and it actually makes the story better for being better paced.
But that's what I'm saying. I will not have a go at
Mm.
the live action one, which I haven't given a try, and I know there is a significant difference between a live action version and an anime version, and the fact that the anime version is quite old now.
Yeah.
Especially the early seasons, they're quite old.
Yeah, it's not great to look
now.
at, honestly.
So, anime has improved.
There are HD
Yeah.
re-releases, I think, of the first few arcs, but
I mean,
not in English.
No, but I'm comparing to say Full Metal Alchemist compared to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Ah,
They have learned to pace things better.
Yeah.
With series I've seen before, like Evangelion, I don't like where they've gone with it, because to me they cut out a lot of the character. So I didn't get on with the remake.
Well, the thing with Ava is, of course, that the new episodes are in timeline 28. I want to say.
Oh yeah, but that's like,
And it's like,
as I said, I
you've
just couldn't
reset the
stand the
universe
actual-
28 times, you motherfucker.
as I said, I
It's-
just couldn't stand the production. It
No,
just
no.
wasn't for me.
That was my biggest thing when I realised that. I was like, wait a minute, you've got Universe 2 Shinji in Universe 28. And I was like, I'm going to shake Shinji to death because he's reset the universe 28 times.
But we've kind of gone away from topic.
yep, yeah, as we are
Because I
want
know
to
you
do.
were wrapping up.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any closing remarks on this season of Doctor Who as a whole?
Solid start. Solid start.
Solid start, and I'm really excited to see what we get this holiday season, because this will be the big one, I think.
I'm hoping Rogue comes back, but hoping he's not a second-rate Jack Harkness. I'm hoping he goes somewhere else.
Mate, I'm really hoping that he's the villain, because it would explain why the Meep basically went, oh, you've got two hearts. The boss will be very interested in that. The only other person that knows he's a Time Lord is Rogue. And the only
he mentions the two hearts.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's... Mate, as I said, if he comes back as the boss and Flood and the Meep are working for him, I am... And that's the Christmas episode. I am going to be a very happy person, I think.
Yeah. Because, as I said, that would be a much more satisfying end, sort of continuation for Rogue than him just becoming a second-rate Jack Harkness.
The thing is,
Rogue, as we got him, was very like Jack Harkness adjacent, wasn't it?
we haven't had a villain that could gut punch the Doctor as much as Rogue could.
See, this is why I was saying these episodes are so similar to his first season. That the whole villain, the whole Rogue thing is so Jack Harkness. The whole episode was, period episode, romantic potential interest for the Doctor, cloaked ship.
Just so I can tie this up in a nice little bow, so
dodgy backstory.
Just so Ollie can do a plug as well before he ends.
Yeah.
You know whose this story is, don't you?
Whose?
Right. Think of put this. I'm going to put it into picture for you. D&D fan. Right.
Yeah.
Mid-Elizabethan style clothing, trapped in a void.
Yeah.
Becomes an evil lord. Trapped in a mist. D&D trapped in mist. Evil lord. Can't give you any more. Mate, they're doing the Curse of Strahd.
Oh, yeah.
They're literally, if you put all the pieces together, he is literally going to be trapped in this void, and he is going to become Strahd. And it's literally torn lovers, trapped in a void, D&D fan, with minions that he sends into that universe, like from the light, like in the mist. They're doing Curse of Strahd.
Back into
place.
Place.
They're doing Curse of Strahd. Doctor Who style, because in that universe, it's going to be something that he knows. And what does he know? He knows he had in his mind Elizabethan period and D&D. The universe that he's gone to has created a patchwork around that information. He is literally playing Strahd in a D&D game.
Oh, that
Mate,
would be
that's
cool.
mate, that's my thing.
Yeah.
If I win,
Yes.
I don't know what happens.
Okay. Well,
I know I get a cookie.
Well, speaking of Curse of Strahd, if you tune in to twitch.tv/Eclectichawk on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. GMT, you can see a fun version of Curse of Strahd where we're all playing goblins. Goblins versus Strahd.
And by then, I should have the merch store up. So, get your, you'll be able to get your Hans Believes in You training, bikini top.
Hans believes in you, bikini tops, Curse of Strahd mouse mats, mugs, loads of shit.
I'm
I
glad
should've-
you.
I
I'm
should've
glad you
finished it
didn't
by
take
then.
my advice on what I want to do with the bikini tops.
Oh, what,
I
the
want.
ogre?
No, I
Got
want to.
ogre milk.
No, I'm going to put a kinky goblin on one. Going, can you see my nipples in this?
Oh, I was going to do. I was going to use that image you had before, but have on one side the lactating ogre, and on the other side the question, got ogre milk?
uh,
If I get away with that, I can get away with anything.
all of these in-jokes are decipherable if you log into twitch.tv/Eclectichawk and follow Goblins vs. Strahd. And I think that's about where we can wrap up for the night, because I think we've
Yeah, we've covered everything.
yeah. So I guess the next time we talk about Doctor Who, if we do again, will be after Christmas.
Mm.
But for now, I'll be doing Assassin Sunday and potentially Warframe tomorrow. Trig, you doing Warframe tomorrow?
Hopefully, if my internet holds up, my internet's
Okay.
been. I don't know if it's because
Well,
I'm
I'll be
hosting
around
the
to
games.
casually. I'll be around to casually play Warframe either way. So
Yeah.
I said I don't know if it's because I'm hosting the games and handling a lot of streaming material.
Ah, I see.
could be. I tend to find I restart my internet before I go live.
Yeah, I might have to try that.
I
to see
just find that during the week it sort of collects up a lot of stuff, and then if you give it a 30-second, turn it off for 30 seconds, turn it back on, that tends to clear it.
Because the number of times
I find that gives you a nice, more stable connection.
The number of times it's jittered me out and it's killed you people is hilarious.
Well,
when you've left us there to die.
left us there to die.
Technically, if I'm pulled out of something against my will, I haven't left you there to die.
Yeah, you have.
From a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view. Well,
I haven't made the conscious decision to leave you there to die.
Well,
yes, you have.
for definite tomorrow night, I'll be doing Assassin Sunday with my co-host Dan, who couldn't be here
No,
tonight.
you're not. You're not doing Assassin Sunday tomorrow. You did it on Wednesday.
No, that was for last Sunday.
It's not available tomorrow.
You've confused him now.
No, that was last week.
I thought it was this week.
No, this
For
week.
this week. That's why you did it on. Because I thought it was for this week. Because you did Sunday, then you did Wednesday. I thought it was because this.
No,
week
I didn't do last Sunday.
Available. Oh.
Time is running together for me as well. So I
Yeah.
Remember, time is wibbly wobbly.
Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Tomorrow's
Check his
Assassin's Sunday.
schedule.
The day after that will
Follow
be.
him. Follow him, and then you'll know when he goes live.
Yeah.
I will follow
Don't listen to me. I'm a crazy person.
I'm also a crazy
him,
person.
whatever he may do.
Just check your notifications.
Yeah, and on Monday I will be returning to Yakuza 4 with Murasaki's Pit for Mafia Monday. Warlords welcome. And on Tuesday before D&D, me, Murra, and Trigger will be going to start Final Fantasy IV, hopefully, for Tombury Tuesday. Hopefully, we finished the first one in 2 streams, the second one in 2 streams, the third one in 3. I wonder how many 4 will take.
I think it will take
7.
4. I think they're going to go up. I think we can finish Final Fantasy 7 in 7 streams.
No, there's no way you'll finish Final Fantasy 7 in 7 streams.
I
More
can
like
complete. I
77
can complete
streams, as
Final
everyone's
Fantasy
like
7.
fanboying like crazy.
All right, I can complete Final Fantasy 7 in 36 hours. I believe I got it down to.
Well, each stream tends to be 4 hours long, so 7 times 4.
Maths.
Matt.
28 hours.
Yeah, so maybe 8.
Mm,
Well, we do have the like speeding up things.
also, stop. You need to round up.
Yep. Sorry, I'm rambling.
You're
But-
rounding up, and then we start talking again.
All right,
During the war.
follow me for all that shit, and Hawk for D&D, and Trigger for Warframe, and anything else he does. Twitch.tv/TriggerGoblin.
No,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
No.